Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new Ike Live. The show is brought to you by some amazing companies, including the presenting sponsor of Ike Live, Mystery Tackle Box MTB. It's like happiness right to your doorstep once a month. Mystery Tackle Box puts brand new lures, hot items in your hand once a month. Listen to me. Use the promo code Ike Live. Get 30% off your first Elite box or 50% off your first Pro box. That's unbelievable. Also brought to you by Tin Cup Whiskey. God, I love whiskey. This is American style whiskey cut with Rocky Mountain water. It's got a classic finish to it. I personally love the rye. It's got a little bit of a bold, spicy finish. You're going to love this stuff. Straight from the Rockies to your glass. Also brought to you by TH Marine, the maker of great marine products, from everything from a John boat to a Biggie Smalls yacht. That's TH Marine. Go to thmarine.com, use the promo code Ike Live, and get $10 off a $50 order or more. Unbelievable. Brought to you by Flambeau, the makers of the best tackle storage systems in the world, including the brand new Crank Bank and Blade Crate. Of course, every single Flambeau tackle storage system has Z-Rust incorporated to help keep your hooks rust-free. Go to flambeauoutdoors.com, use the promo code Ike Live, and get 20% off your entire order. That's unbelievable. Brought to you by Founders Beer. God, I love Founders. I'm such a beer guy, and I like all styles of beer. Founders makes them. I want you to go to foundersbrewing.com, or even better yet, download the Founders app. And by doing that, you can find out what dealer or bar has Founders right near you. Also, they're going to keep you ahead of the curve on brand new beer releases. That's foundersbrewing.com. This show's brought to you by Liquid Mayhem. Scent matters. Listen to me. If you want to catch more fish, if you want to catch bigger fish, try some Liquid Mayhem, put it on your favorite lure, and you're going to get bit. Go to liquidmayhem.com, use the promo code Ike Live. You ready for this? For 25% off your order of the best scent on the market, Liquid Mayhem. Also brought to you by Heshi Socks. That's right, Heshi Socks. Who doesn't love a good, comfortable, well-fitting sock? And guess what? The Ike Live crew had a hand in this, and we've got specially designed Ike-style socks just for you. Cushioned foot and toe, stay-up technology, and they've got a technology built in there where they won't stink. This is unbelievable, okay? Great designs, under $10 with the code Ike Live at heshiwear.com. Also, they have Ike Foundation design socks. All proceeds go to the Ike Foundation. Brought to you by Torqeedo Motors, the leader in electric motor drives. If you're one of the guys like me, you have a tiny boat, you have a John boat, you live on an electric-only lake, get a Torqeedo if you want to be the fastest, most efficient boat on the water. Go to torqeedo.com. And last but not least, the Ike Live show is brought to you by Hobie Kayaks. Hobie is the Cadillac of kayaks, and kayak fishing is changing the world. Easy access, easy to get into. I want you to go to Hobie.com to check out their large array of kayak products, including the one that I use, the Hobie 360. Listen to me. Prepare yourself. Get your popcorn. Get your Founders Beer and Tin Cup Whiskey. Get ready for a brand new Ike Live show coming up live right now. Come on, let's watch. Hey, everybody. Welcome to...
And action.
Folks at home, how you doing tonight? Welcome to a brand new edition of Ike Live. We got a special one for you tonight. If you're looking at this right now and you're saying, man, these characters look tired and exhausted and beat down, you are correct, because we are right on the heels, just fresh off of our 6th annual Ike Foundation Pro-Am. And I couldn't think of a better show and a better guest. Sitting to my right, the winner of that event, a good friend of mine for like 50 or 60 years. I don't know how long we've known each other. Mark Schaefer joins us tonight. Mark.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
I'm stoked to have you here in studio.
I'm really impressed. I've known you a long time, and I remember when you started talking about your dreams, and dude, this is
awesome, isn't it?
It is. It's yeah.
It feels like things have come full circle here a little tonight.
Yes, it has. Yes.
We're going to get into it. But it's awesome to have you here. Sitting to my left, starting the show here, which is very unusual, the one and only Miss Rebecca. How you doing tonight, Beck?
I'm good, thank you.
Who are you wearing?
Oh,
Who is this?
crap. I don't know. It's a hippie dress.
Hippie dress. Very fashionable hippie dress tonight. Beck, awesome event. We're going to get into it, but we are tired. We were talking before the show started to Mark, like, we got back yesterday exhausted.
Yeah.
Tired. I'm going to admit it right now. I had a couple founders. And on my third founders, you went upstairs. You said, man, let's get the kids to bed. It's 9 o'clock or whatever. It's early. And I'm on my third founders. I'm still sitting downstairs, and I sat in the seat and said, well, I'll see you in a little bit. Come up when you're done. And like an hour later, I woke myself up, and the founder's still in my hand somehow. So we were exhausted. It was exhausting time.
I'm usually a nice wife. Like, I put the kids to bed, and if he's not there, I know he's passed out somewhere, and I go down and get him. I didn't go back down the stairs last night. I was like, no, he can sleep wherever he lands.
Yeah. You just left me. It's okay. We're going to be talking about yesterday, and it was a great day.
Yes.
We've got 2 other guests here in studio with us, pushing buttons, making plays. Of course, the producer of the show, Mr. Brian the Carpenter. And next to Brian, we've got Dave Brodzik, a.k.a. Fathead, a.k.a. Worf, a.k.a. Stormtrooper. Dave, how you doing tonight?
Is you on?
No, it's not on. No. No, you think Brian would have something working?
Huh. We didn't test this one.
Nope, sure didn't work. Nope, nothing.
How
Zero.
about that?
How about that?
Oh, dude, you put the headset on. It's got the thingamabout.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I think that microphone's... That's another one is this.
Oh, great. Another
All right.
microphone.
Add that to the
I
list.
can't fix things when I don't know about them.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hard telling, not knowing.
Hey, there's Dave.
Uh,
Oh, but usually a nice wife. That was a good line, Becca. I want everybody to remember that. I'm
Yeah,
usually a nice wife.
Yeah, that's right.
That's real, though, right?
Yeah.
It's real honest.
Yeah, because who's always a nice wife?
A liar.
Somebody who's only been married for like 1 year. The first year of marriage, maybe.
That's exactly it.
Maybe.
That's right. That's right. I'd like to also mention Dave and Brian, both you guys fished the Pro-Am yesterday. We're going to be getting a little into your story, but from afar, how do you think the event ran from a tournament standpoint? Pretty good?
I mean, from a tournament standpoint, it runs as smooth as any major organization.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you guys, are very clear with what everyone needs to do via via loudspeaker. I'm going to be shouting if I talk louder.
Yeah, shout.
All right. And, that Dave Haas checking in the boats, it ran amazing. You wouldn't even have known that it was like something constructed by Becky and like 3 other housewives. It's pretty amazing, actually. And you can tell she's been in the game a while because you don't know. It's like, it runs as smooth as any BFL ever start, anything you would jump into.
Smoother than the BFL. I mean, the BFL 2 weeks prior was only 20 more boats. And
I heard it was a disaster.
It was a disaster, dude. I mean, my daughter and I got there 5. Like, nobody was there because we showed up the ramp, and it's like Dave goes, everybody showed up at once. We were sitting in the water with a half hour to spare.
Wow.
You got that many boats in
Wow.
a half an hour.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
No,
Yeah.
very impressive.
That's
Yes,
awesome.
very
Thank you.
impressive.
And Dave, you just gave me, you know how I get these ideas? I get these flashes of things that I think will be a success, whether it's a product or a concept, show concept. I got one based off what you just said. Beck, we're gonna create a new show called The Real Housewives of the Ike Foundation. Shop that to
Sounds-
Bravo.
Sounds really entertaining.
That might get about 2 more views than Charles' kayak build. One of the most amazing things ever put on YouTube about building kayaks.
Yeah.
Like nobody watched.
Nobody watched.
I feel so bad for him.
I have to.
Very
I have to
insightful.
tell you about women launching boats though in the morning. If women yell at men in the dark, I think men instantly hear their mom or their wife
Yeah.
yelling at them, and they just move.
They listen.
move
Wow.
so fast. They listen.
All right, so if
Well,
you're
maybe
was too
that's
many-
why the registration's down this year. You girls cackling at the dudes in the morning.
maybe, but,
There's too many witnesses to handle it the way they want to.
right,
Yeah.
but if you're if
Everyone
the
goes schlopping
competitive
once in a while,
circuits,
Sean Connery.
if the competitive circuits are watching right now, if Redman or nuts, no, what is it? It's not called Redman anymore. What is it called?
It's
BFL.
BFL.
If you're watching, or Chester County Bassmasters, or whoever's our competitors out there, have women backing the boats in and yelling at people.
Oh, yeah,
It'll happen quicker.
I have to say, I was not too horrified with anyone backing a boat down this time.
No, except the one. I did see something amazing.
Oh, okay, go.
I got to tell this story real quick. I was going to tell it later, but tell it now. So I was there, and I was actually handing some ice out in the morning. Had my truck parked there. I was handing some ice out, and I saw this, boat backing down. Beautiful, brand new, a gorgeous. I want to say it was like a Vexus, just giant motor on the back. Gorgeous boat. $100,000 boat, probably more. And, he's telling his partner, "I'm on, back it in, back it up, Mike, come out." And the boat drifts off, and I watched drift. It was just a perfect launch. And he had that outboard trimmed all the way up and out.
No.
And I was like, man, and I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, man, at this point, I'm like, if I was him, I would put that down just a little because it's so high,
He's going to stick somebody.
And all of a sudden, I hear the dude crank the motor.
Oh,
And I'm like,
no.
Yeah.
Well, surely he's going to hear that the prop, because it makes a different
Oh,
sound
sure
when the
does.
prop's out of the water. And he cranks and it's, and you can hear it running. And now he's still drifting because he's drifting into that left-hand dock. If you're
Yeah.
backing in, look.
Yeah, prop first.
And he realizes it. Instead of getting out of the seat and pushing off, he puts it in gear. The prop is 4 foot out of the water. Dude, it starts to hit the plastic, the black plastic and metal of the dock. And it's just
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding. And dude, he's yelling, ah! He's screaming like he's being hurt. And everybody just stopped what they were doing and
Damn
looked. And just looked. And he eventually got out of there, finally trimmed it down and idled off, and I never saw what happened the rest of the day. But I saw that happen. It was the first time ever I saw that dock get chewed
Forget
up.
that.
Like
That's what's
motors
terrifying
in the water.
when you mix bass fishing with saltwater launchers. They are absolutely. Usually, you get drunk dad, like yelling at everybody because they ain't getting on the boat the same way. And all the kids are like out there with gaffs trying to get the thing in line. You know what I mean?
It's
Like, usually
funny.
that's what you get.
It's funny you say that because there's truth in saltwater launchers because there's a different method when
Horrendous.
those guys launch. And also, North Jersey trout dum-dums also have that launching method. You ever see them up there at Round Valley or Merrill Creek, Bry? Those damn trollers that troll.
Yeah.
The dude backs them in, and he always holds a rope.
Oh, yeah.
And
Dopes
Yeah.
with ropes.
Yeah,
Act like
dopes
they're
with
launching
ropes.
like a maiden voyage
Dude,
of a
get
tugboat.
in the boat. And why with the rope?
Yeah.
Like, what is the thing with the
That's
rope?
insufferable.
Pontoon boats. And
Yeah.
anyhow.
It's terrible. Anyway, so that happened. But we're going to be getting
But it was a great event.
It was a great event. We're going to be getting all into that in a second. It's going to be a great show.
oh.
Yeah.
So who would be the women launchers, Beck? Who would be your A squad?
To physically back the
yeah.
boats down.
Physically.
Wow. Well, I guess I haven't really been out on the road that much, but I would say like my core group from back in the day that I could easily tell you could back them down with probably like one eye, like patched like a pirate,
No,
like
the
in the dark.
bitches barking out commands at the ramp.
Oh, I don't think any of our ladies could back a boat down.
No, police.
Yeah.
Police. She's missing it.
That's all right.
You want me to say the ladies' names?
Yeah. Well, who would run that?
Oh, a tournament.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Kate's real snarly.
I think Janet can get after it too.
But
I was thinking like on the Elite Series and such, the ladies that you've toured with over the years, who would be your A squad that you choose from?
Carrie Short, Julia Kennedy.
I've seen her work, Kennedy. She gets after it with dogs across her lap, looking out the window.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like that's where I was going. Why did you correct me? That's where I was going. He confused me.
Me?
No, him.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
It's been a long
Leanne.
weekend. It's okay.
He just doesn't want me to talk. He wants to talk.
I know.
No, it's not that.
Leslie Martins.
Leslie can back a boat. Yeah. I would say all the campground ladies are beasts in backing down boats. Like Tammy Cook used to do it with a dog, like running around the back too. I'm done.
I'm sorry. Show's yours, Mike.
Great job, Brian. What's next?
This is the Brian show tonight.
No, it's not. I'm out.
Right. I don't even know where I'm at now.
I'm not sure where we
You
went.
got the champ next to you.
Yeah, we do. I know. We have Mark here. We're going to talk to Mark. at
And
some
I put
point.
my motor in the water.
Your motor was down.
It was in the water.
It was in the water.
Yeah.
Didn't chop up a dock, which is good.
No.
All right, listen. If you're watching over on Facebook, do me a favor, like and share the feed. If you do that, you're entered in a contest to win the Ike Life gift bag, which hasn't been here in fucking 5 shows, wherever that's at.
Rich took it.
Rich took it.
He had
He's
to mail
doing
it.
squats with it. It's so heavy.
He's doing squats with it. Like and share the feed over on Facebook. You're going to be entered in a contest to win our bag, which is not here anymore. Have no idea. Got a half a spot promotion. Brian Carpenter, fill us in on that. Oh, okay.
This show is amazing.
I was going to go get that
tonight.
alleged gift bag, but I'll come back here. Oh, my God.
Well, the studio probably got cleaned up by the ladies.
Well, the cables got completely tangled up, so probably.
Yeah.
Like, there's no dust to be seen,
You
but
know,
there's
we're
cables
really
everywhere
thankful
tangled and
that y'all
tied.
are watching.
All 5 viewers just tuned out.
Yeah,
Right?
so half a spot, right? Download the app, fish against me and Rich and Mike and a bunch of other guys, Ben Milliken, Zach Burge.
Yeah,
Who
this
else?
is your
Ish
month.
Monroe.
This
Ish
is
Monroe.
is your month right now, so people can fish against you guys,
That's right.
you and Rich this month,
fish
and
for-
and
fish
I
for
think
real
Ish has
money.
a tournament, and then yours is July, right?
Right.
Yeah.
July.
So people get to compete against you guys, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I like the options. So you can either be a boat angler, you can be a bank angler. Was
Right.
there also like a kayak angler?
Yep.
There's like different options and you pay. Like there's a tiering system or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's very,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's a championship on Gunnersville in October.
Oh, that should be good.
Qualify for that.
Yeah. Frog Time, Gunnersville in October. I
Yeah.
like it. All right, let's get the show started. I want to thank our military, active and veterans, men and women. Thank you guys for what you do. Shout out to policemen and firemen, EMT. Thank you, man. It's a crazy world. Appreciate everything. I want to start with the event itself.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about it's a difficult event to prepare for. How long, how many months ago did you guys start preparing for the Ike Foundation event?
Probably anywhere from like 6 to 8 months ago. Probably 8 months because we have to pick a date. You know what I
Right.
mean? As soon as the tournament organizations the major tournament organizations put out their tournament schedule,
Yeah.
we pick. And we try to pick a date relatively early to kind of get in before all the local folks, pick, their date and everything. So we start planning, we start getting, the website together. We probably never stop planning because
Yeah.
tomorrow we'll have a meeting and recap every pro and con that everybody has from the event.
Wow.
So that we can,
Debrief.
yeah, we've got to change things. This didn't work. We've
Mm.
got to do something different. I mean, it's a constant flow. So I don't think we ever stop talking about the
Yeah.
Pro-Am. We're always working with the community. Cecil County is amazing. We work with Sandy over there, and we're probably in conversation with her year round, but real hot and heavy probably 6 months prior.
Yeah. This was the 6th year
Mm-hmm.
you guys have run this event. Has it gotten easier for you guys over those years? Like I look back on the first one on the Delaware River. We had like less than 50 boats. It was, I remember how everything was new and a challenge. Has it gotten easier all these years later?
I think the running of it, because so much of it is the same, you know what I mean? And we're a little less stressed because we already have a template. We're just, we're putting that template in place. I would say the last couple years, the thing that has been hard is that we always used to throw the big kids family event.
Right.
And then COVID hit last year. We couldn't do anything.
Right.
But that was a constant, like, we didn't know, would we be allowed, not allowed? So, I mean, I guess in that regard, it was a little easier. We didn't have that piece. Then this year, it was like, can we do something? We can't have a fun fest, but we're going to be able to get a handful of kids out. We can social distance. We're going to partner with a Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
And then things opened up right before. So, we were allowed to have crowds because in 2020, we couldn't even let people watch the weigh-in, which is why we were on that dock, so that people couldn't really get to us because we weren't allowed to have people come or we could get in trouble. So I think the last 2 years have been, the difficult part has been the rules are ever changing because of the environment of, our world.
Yeah. And Mark, I mentioned this on stage, but you guys were all out fishing, you and Brian and Dave and all the guys were out fishing. We had an amazing kids segment to the day, which was so cool. So we had a little over 100 kids working with the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, so we partnered with the Boys and Girls Club, and they had to pre-register with a parent. So the kids came with a parent or guardian, an adult.
Yep.
And, we were able to do 2 shifts of 50.
Two shifts of 50.
Yeah.
And they had casting. They had lure painting, lure design.
Yep.
They had fishing.
Actual fishing on the dock.
Which over the years of doing kids events, I love the ones where they can fish.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the casting stuff's cool, the instruction's cool. We had a biologist there that filleted a snakehead. Like there was some cool interactive stuff going on.
Yeah, outside of just
outside of it, but the fishing
Yep.
part was unbelievable. Like to see that again. Like I said, I missed it. Like last year, it wasn't there, and it was great seeing that part again. You know?
The cool thing about the snakehead being filleted was a girl was actually taught how to do it, and she did part of it. She got a merit badge as a Girl Scout.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Here's the other cool about.
Yeah, she's a Girl Scout.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
She got that. And here's the other cool thing about the filleting of the snakeheads. I got to take the fillets home and ate them last night.
I was going to say, they're supposed to
How'd
be
you,
pretty
how'd
good,
you
ain't
cook
they?
them?
Yeah, Beck? Panko? What was it?
Yeah, I just did like a breadcrumb parmesan and kind of pan fried them in olive oil and then just did lime juice right at the end. They were amazing.
Unreal,
Were they
dude.
really?
Yeah.
Unreal. Snakeheads.
Because it was a white
so
fish,
good.
so I didn't want to go too crazy.
Right.
Yeah, it's good.
That's what I heard.
It's
I'm not
banging.
going to say nothing, but
It's good.
haven't caught them.
Yeah.
Now, boy, now next weekend. Watch,
Oh,
here we
yeah.
go.
It'll be all snakeheads next week.
We'll all have food.
Net, snakehead, snakehead, snakehead. No, we won't jinx you on that one. But it was great seeing the kids fishing, casting. I heard from, I want to say somewhere between 12 and 20 kids yesterday that when they caught a fish, they were holding up. Dude, you could see them lit up, smiles, and it was their first fish they ever caught. So
wow.
It was awesome. I know a lot of those kids we had come up from the Baltimore area. We had a lot of inner city kids. So, man, to see kids, lit up on a bullhead that's that big or a bluegill, that's the first thing that pulled back.
Yeah.
Using all those little ultralight Ike Dude rods. Dude,
They're hooked.
it was bomb. It was bomb. So there was a whole nother.
That was the really cool part about who we partnered with.
Yeah, that
they
was awesome.
brought us families and kids who
Yeah.
did not have fishing experience.
Well, you told me a story about an interaction you had with a single mom. Why don't you tell everybody that one? That was a good one.
Yeah, so there was a mom who came and she brought her kid and she was so excited because, she wanted to get her kid in the outdoors, but she didn't know the first thing about fishing. So she was incredibly intimidated. So she was excited to come and she was so appreciative. Wow. I mean, the rod that they took home, we actually got out of the package and because they used different rods when they were with us and then we sent them home with a new rod.
Oh, nice.
We actually pulled it out, showed her how to tie the knot on to put the hook because she wanted to take her kid fishing again.
Awesome.
But she wanted to make sure she had a whole skill set. She was so excited. I mean, probably more excited than the kid because she felt like she had learned something as well that she could pass along to her child.
Yeah.
Well, it's just good that parents and any single mom or single dad want to get their kids involved in the outdoors instead of doing the lazy thing and just, give them a PlayStation.
Yeah,
and
tablet.
phones. Yep,
Here.
here you go. Sit in a room.
Remote.
I'm
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
And I think the thing that we forget is that we all know how to, spool up a rod. We know how to tie the hook on. We know like what our bait selection should be. Think about the person who knows nothing and they walk into a tackle shop or even a Walmart or whatever and they're looking at the wall going,
Yeah.
like how do you start?
It's confusing.
Yeah, it's really
Well,
intimidating.
that's what I liked about that story because usually the kids and the parents you interact with are the Federation guys that have the guts to fish the tournament and they bring their kids and suck up all the free stuff. These were actually like kids you got
He's right
from
though.
the inner city to come up
Yeah.
with their parents
Yeah.
and experience this for the first time, which is
Yeah.
what this whole thing was created for.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's the best
Pretty
part
rad.
about the whole
Yeah.
thing.
That is
It's
cool.
funny because somebody asked me next year when everything opens up, do you want to do that, that big fun fest again? And after yesterday, I don't know if I really do because the folks that come know about us. They know Mike. They come because they know fishing. We got the kids that got that first chance to experience
Yeah,
fishing.
That's important.
That's what I want to do again. Those are the kids. That's the target.
You got to get the Chinese auction back ASAP. Like,
Yeah.
I live for that. I live
Yeah,
for
that was
failing
cool.
at the gift that I want. It's the only adult Christmas I get. Like, I ask for this thing and I don't get it. I get like the version I won't show nobody.
Well, we'll still make sure to have, like the scholarship dinner and all
Yeah, we
the
gotta
auction.
have that
It's all,
auction again, man.
Dave, it's all coming back. Life's going to get back to normal. Fauci's emails are being uncovered. Yeah. It's all good.
Oh, geez, let's not go
We're
there.
in good shape.
We're just going to keep talking about fishing.
Oh, okay. We won't talk about Fauci. All right. It was super cool.
Yeah.
Part of the event. So happy, so glad we could have the kids back this year. And at the same time, and again, I'm saying this for people watching and listening that don't know how it ran. At the same time, in conjunction, we had our event going on, and
Yeah, so we get down there, just to give people an idea of timing wise. We're down there between 2:30 and 3 o'clock to make sure that we are set up because we've got a ton of paperwork. We give everybody, G-juice and bags of ice and all sorts of goodie bags
Yeah.
and stuff. So the moment they pull in, we're giving them stuff. We get them on the water. We launch them at 6 a.m. We drive around to the park. We set up this entire experience for these kids. We do that till about 12:30. Soon as 12:30 is done, that's a full breakdown to start a weigh-in at 2 o'clock.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like 2 events in one.
It is 2 events in
Two
one.
events in
And
one.
we couldn't do it without the volunteers.
Couldn't do it
Oh,
without the volunteers.
it's a lot of work.
Big shout out
Yeah.
to the Ike Foundation team, the sponsors, the volunteers. Thank you guys for making that happen. And I want to use this as a little segue. We are super excited because we've been giving away a Basket Yamaha for 6 straight years now. We have
Yeah.
great sponsors in a Basket Yamaha, but that's a big deal. Mark, we've been fishing forever in the Northeast. We've, as long as you can imagine up here. And in this part of the world, to fish a tournament with the first place of a boat and motor is hard to do. I can't remember that many times in my career in the Northeast fishing for that.
Yeah, none.
Foxwoods maybe
Like,
back in the
none.
day, but yeah, I mean,
I've like I said, I've been doing this. I think I started, got my first bass club when I was probably 26. I'm just turned 60. And, when I hear, see, like, you won a boat, the older guys, like, everybody's winning a boat. I was like, man, but you got to travel. You got to big tournaments.
Yeah.
But the fish, within an hour and a half of your home, especially in a tournament where I felt, and the reason I fished was just to make the donation to the foundation.
yeah.
But to have a prize like that for something you're doing out of the kindness of your heart for the charity, I mean, maybe some guys are fishing just for the boat.
Yeah.
I was not down there to win the boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really wasn't. I was down there to spend just
Yeah.
time with my daughter.
Yeah.
Took my kid fishing.
Yeah.
And that's all it was about. But to be able to fish for a boat
Yeah.
and a motor like that in your backyard, it's like, dude, it's sick. That's
awesome.
Oh,
It's awesome. And I heard that same thing from 99% of the people that came across the stage that said, look, I'm competitive. I'm here. I wanted to win this, right?
Yeah.
Dude, look at some of the names we had there. the biggest hammers on the upper
Oh, my
Chesapeake
God,
Bay you can imagine. And they all said the same thing. They said, look, man, we're here to support the charity. And I was like, thank you. Couldn't thank them enough, you know. Winning the boat is great, but
That's just icing on the cake.
yeah,
you
you
know.
guys supporting the charity means a lot.
That's
That was
the
awesome.
main thing, and what you guys are doing to introduce the kids to fishing. Because growing up in South Jersey, and I remember it's exciting now today to see so many. I live in Williamstown, not too far from you.
Yeah.
Everybody, when they see me at a gas station, what kind of boat's that? What's that on the front of your boat?
Yeah.
Never saw a bass boat.
Yeah.
Now we got.
You're talking about your Bigfoot that's on the front still? I was asking about.
Hand control boat.
I had a guy.
I was waiting for that.
I had a guy tell me, he goes, I was off to your left. I said, I didn't see, there was a boat. He goes, yeah, I was about 1,000 yards away, but I knew it was you. I'm like, damn, that
Dude,
trolling motor.
We were within 50 yards of you for about 2.5 hours.
Oh,
dude.
was that you?
Yeah, and we only knew because of the gold boat and the damn Bigfoot on the front.
Yeah, that sticks out.
Yeah, I wound up getting another foot control trolling motor. Old habits don't die. I'm just so used to that motor. I tell everybody I've had a spot lock for years.
Yeah.
I hit that little Bigfoot on. It's running, and especially when you get in rough water, when we fish the bigger water,
Yeah.
being on that foot control,
Yeah.
and that head always turns.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, we have a lot of 16-somethings, 17-year-old guys watching us. Brian, if you get it, could you bring up what a Bigfoot actually looks like for these guys? Because it's
Probably.
almost like if somebody was talking about a Studebaker to us.
Yeah.
When we were like 16,
Yeah.
we'd be like, what? They look like
Well,
that?
if you look at that troll motor, a lot of guys have the extension for a hand, so you can use your hand. I tried that at once, but it always gets in the way. Fishing with the Bigfoot that I use on my trolling motor, there's one or two of us out. I'm the only one with the Bigfoot. Other guys got the hand. It's like resting your foot on a stool.
Yeah.
Everybody can, like I don't stand like, oh, you stand on one leg all day. No, I don't. I'm kind of, resting my foot on a stool, and then a lot of times I can stand flat-footed, and I always got my balance, and
Yeah.
I got the troll motor on because it's controlled by just a
Yep.
Bigfoot switch.
Here's somebody else that uses a Bigfoot, the foot steering arm and the switch. Vegas the Hammer, my son.
Does he?
So I had it on my original crawdad
Yeah.
in 1990. Never took it off. It's the exact Bigfoot I've had. I've had to repair it. I can't even, I want more because I've looked for them on eBay. I can't even find them anymore.
Well,
for
you
that
happen to
Minn Kota.
know somebody sitting about 3 feet from
Well,
you that's got like 4 of them.
I might have to try to, even if it's a used one, I'm gonna have to try to get
Nah,
one
dude,
off
there
you.
was the time when, because the law of probability always happens when you're bass fishing. It breaks.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do? And
Yeah.
who carries that, right?
Yeah.
So I went on a mission, and I got a stockpile of them.
Wow.
See, but it's almost a curse because we didn't do a good job explaining Mark's reputation in the Federation, the type of killer that he is, and just the hardworking guy that he is. Like that, when you pull up, and you recognize that's your boat because you're big. It's like I made the good choice where I'm at, but oh shit, Mark's in my area. That's
Yeah.
what me and John were like. Oh,
It
dude.
is true. It is true. I didn't think about that because most of the time, a boat will be identified by a wrap,
No,
right,
his is a
or a
trolling motor.
color, or different color power poles. But yours is the troll motor. You're right. You stand out.
Dude, I was down Kerr Reservoir at Haas and Headstring. I don't know because they said we saw you the other day. I'm like,
Yeah.
Kerr Reservoir, right? I'm like, where? You were fishing the cove where our house was at. I'm like, damn that troll motor.
There's 2 Federation OGs that fished yesterday who have, for you, it's that trolling motor. And for Bob Soley, it's the white boat with no power poles. The
No
only boat in
poles.
the field
No
with
poles.
no power poles.
They don't give a shit.
No,
No poles.
yeah.
Bob's electronics are from the 90s. They're
Yeah.
this big. He
Yeah.
doesn't care about
Flashing,
any
no
of
power
that.
poles.
Crack screen, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They don't care. We got up on the screen. Here's a picture of, I don't think that's the exact one Mark uses, but
No.
it's.
He uses the kick one,
Yeah, he
Brian.
uses the kick one. But
Yeah.
that's
Dude, that was the only one I could find.
yeah, that's okay.
It's all-
That's a good
yeah.
representation of what it is.
That's how outdated I am.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, I love it.
show you
Vegas
what- I'll
uses
show you
it.
what
So
You know what I like the feature about it is the troll motor has reverse.
there you go. Yeah.
When you get how many times you go into a lay down or something because
Yeah.
you get snagged up,
A lot.
and you go,
Yeah.
especially when you got to chase down a jackhammer, right? You got to go in and get it. with a regular, your foot control, you have to spin.
Right.
And how many times do you have to? You got to pick it up, basically chop your way like the guy did with the prop back in, bring it out of the water, and beat the branches to back your way out.
Yeah.
Or start the big motor up. But that thing, dude, I can go right in, hit reverse,
come right back out.
Real sweet.
Yeah.
I haven't. I was almost going to make the switch because I didn't know how I was going to be able to hold up.
Yeah.
But because I run heavy equipment my whole life, I'm sitting down pulling levers and doing stuff like that. So for me to stand up in front of that boat, it's kind of a break for me.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's kind of a lot of people don't know how I use it. It's dude, I kick it, and then sometimes people say, dude, I seen you.
You can't find it.
Yeah.
So that's how amazing it is. I typed in old school kickfoot Bigfoot trolling motor. Nothing came up. So for you young
You can't
guys
find it.
watching,
No, you
I'll
can't
explain.
find 'em.
Picture a spatula that's about 24 inches long,
Spatula.
6 inches wide,
kinda what's
upside
like-
down.
Yeah.
That's what a Bigfoot looks like, and you kick it with your foot
Yeah.
while your trolling motor's on, and that's how you steer it. You steer it with your foot by kicking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you just kind of softly just put it on. It's really not. The reason I went to it because back in 1989, Harvey Knight, when I was back in the nation, Federation, he put out there. Everybody bought a boat from him. If you win Mr. Bass, we get a $500 gift certificate. Well, I was fortunate. I won Mr. Bass. At the same year, I qualified to go down to Kentucky Lake for the Redman Operation Bass. And I had the old Mercury cable trolling motors. Well, excuse me, we all know what happens with cables.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm down in Kentucky Lake having my observer drive me around with the outboard because my cables broke and nobody, so so when I went home, I told Harvey, I said, instead of that $500 gift card, I'll take that Everroot trolling motor you were telling me about. And so there you go. From 1989 till today, I'm still using it.
Wow.
So, hey, Mark, Milk Carton
Wow.
has said there's nothing more manly than Mark with tattoos, jean shorts, white tube socks, and New Balance shoes. Life goals.
They like my tan line too. That's a working man's tan line. Yeah.
America right there, folks.
That dude right there just won a mystery tackle box 3 months
Just
subscription.
give him the damn
Great-
bag,
great
'cause I'm not
comment.
doing all
You
the
just won
Facebook like
MTB.
shit. I'll not even do that.
He wins.
Yeah.
Get his info.
It's funny though. It's funny. It is true that once you get used to something, once it becomes part of your style, right? As an angler, like for me, I never used a hot foot day one. My first bass boat, which I won as an amateur, didn't have a hot foot. It was a Ranger 374V with a 150 Johnson Fast Strike on it. No hot foot, right? No hot foot, just throttle. So that year I learned with it. The next year, the following year, I had that boat all the way up until, the late 90s. That same boat with no hot foot. So then as my career progressed and I started being able to order new boats, and getting delayed bill boats and all that stuff and building boats, it was like they were almost every time I'd order it through a marina dealership, they were always like, what? No hot? Your hot foot's not on this order. No, I don't need a hot foot. What? No hot foot? I think I'm like one of the only guys
To this day.
at the tour level that
funny,
doesn't use a hot foot.
This was a conversation the other day
Oh,
because
yeah.
Rich pulled in because Rich bought one of your old
Yeah.
boats, and
He's like, where's the hot foot?
Yeah.
and one of the guys was like, "Man, that boat! I don't know how he drives it. It doesn't have a hot foot." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's Mike's."
Yeah, it's got no gas
They're like,
pedal.
how does he not have a hot foot? How did he never switch? And I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. And he like sits
Yeah.
on his one foot.
Well, I'll
and
bet
he,
you
like,
there'd probably be a lot less accidents, craziness by guys running the boats if they didn't have a hot foot. Because when you have a hot foot, you got both hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
And then it's like you see them out there. I mean, it's, I run hard too, but I know how to run the boat, so I'm not up there trying, walking, beating myself up. That's because they got it pegged and they're holding on to the steering wheel. And you see a lot of crazy things out there. But when the old school, when you get in real rough water, whether you like it or not, the throttle's coming up.
Yeah.
Almost so you can. It's a little bit safer, but. Me personally, when I got the first boat that they put a hot foot in,
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was like,
Yeah.
this is like drag racing.
Yeah.
Whoa, here we go. Especially get that Yamaha that when as soon as I got the 4-stroke, that,
Yeah.
as you know, man, that is a beast of a motor,
beast,
and
yeah.
it sounds bad when it comes on, and that's what I told my daughter. I said, "Yo," I said, "strap down." I said, "Because we're going to go." Because I said the boat's going to go as fast as I can go.
Yeah.
And but yeah, the old school stuff, dude. It's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. Brian, what do you got?
Our buddy John McGraw just sent. Apparently, he has one.
He has one. Wow.
To you youngins, this is what it looks like. Now,
That's
attaches,
it.
That's it.
Yep.
That attaches underneath the head of a hand-controlled trolling motor, where
That's
you
right.
control the throttle by left or right.
That's
Yep.
right.
And left for reverse, right for forward, and it hooks on there, and that's what you. He didn't like when I said kick. That's when you gingerly tap with your foot, which way you want to steer.
Oh no, you kick it sometime,
Yeah.
especially when you break one off.
Yeah. You break one off or
Vegas
miss
just
one.
sits there and like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's too light probably to move that foot pedal, right?
Who, Vegas?
Yeah.
No, he does it. He can do it with his foot, but he does a lot with his hand too.
But I mean, like a foot pedal.
Well, when
troll
he's-
Oh,
motor.
foot pedal troll motor. Yeah, last year we started to break him into using the foot control on my Ghost, and he does okay with
Oh,
it.
and the Ghost,
I mean,
I'm
McGee
sure,
can
on the
work
yeah.
it.
Ghost. Yeah,
Who, Jesse?
on the Ghost.
But
But
but he stands up at 2 feet.
Yeah, he stands on it like a wakeboard,
yeah, but
like a skipboard.
but no. Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing with Vegas that I do want to throw out there with that motor, which I think was really good for him early on, was he learned on that motor, right?
Yeah.
And it's easy, right? It's it's left, right. You're in control of it. There's no like your mind doesn't have to. There's none of this.
Right. Doesn't have to be.
So
coordinated.
early on in the boat, him up front, letting him do his own thing. I like that because he was thinking about the fish,
Yeah.
what the fish were doing, how to change. He's thinking about the important stuff,
Yeah.
not the motor. He'll figure that out when he gets to be a teenager.
Oh, and you think too with that hand control, with your foot. Sometimes if you don't know which way the head is. I mean, how many times have you guys stepped on your trolling motor and you kind of had it on high and the head was
Oh,
like
yeah.
kind of around? You're like, whoa.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
not saying that doesn't happen with the hand control, because quick story. I was down in Florida fishing with John Erickson on the St. Johns River, and I got in a spot with all these trees I'm trying to maneuver.
Yeah.
And I forgot I had my trolling motor on high. Well, I took that Bigfoot and I was like in a catcher position because I was trying to push off, and I had the motor this way. Well, as soon as I let go of the motor and I just hit my switch. When I hit the switch, well, need to say the boat went left and I went down. So I should have realized, I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So the only thing I forgot was the motor was on high. But when you're talking about young kids with their troll motors, they don't have to think about where that pedal's going to go, because
Right.
automatically left hand, right hand.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I wanted to go, I need to go that way. So,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of easier to,
It made it easy for him.
and then you can just say,
Yeah.
focus on the fishing.
Focus on the fish.
The important part.
Focus on thinking about the fish. But this was a good event. We had a lot of momentum. We had 130 boats in the morning. Watching them take off, it was calm. I was excited. I was very, very excited about the day. Did you approach this tournament any different than you would a normal event? Like, what was your mindset going into the Ike Foundation event? Was it different than when you fished the BFL a few weeks ago? Was it different than?
Well, yeah, because it's just the fact that the only way I was to fish the tournament, I wanted to fish it with my daughter, and if not, I was just going to make the donation.
Yeah.
I really wanted to, because I've been very busy at work. There's just no life happening, and I wanted to get fishing down there. But no, to fish that tournament there, that particular tournament, I'd been fishing the flats for years. I did good in the BFL, so I knew where I can go and catch some fish. I mean, I didn't put in any practice, but I figured I'll go down there. I have a little history. I'd seen the conditions. I had no idea. All that yoo-hoo was always tore up, thunder and lightning. I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So I decided I'd go out in that the big main flat where everybody goes, and I just figured I'd go out there, start on some old waypoints that I had. I didn't know if grass was there or not. I just figured a starting spot.
Yeah.
And my main goal really is I wanted Sam to catch fish.
Yeah.
And I was hoping she'd catch the biggest fish, because that would just, she's awesome, that kid. But she's still talking. I mean, it's the memories of life that we created. But
Yeah.
so when I was out there, there was no pressure, man.
Right.
I mean, I didn't fish clean.
Yeah.
And it didn't bother me. Usually if I don't fish clean, I know fishing each tournament, as you well know.
Yeah.
You get in any.
Yeah.
I'm not. This was like a classic type tournament. But when you get into these big events and you're fishing for money, and you swat at one and you see, oh, no, that was better than a 3.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what they weigh when I miss them, but they were big.
Yeah.
And you're like, that ain't good. That usually hurts you.
Right.
And that happened. I didn't care.
Yeah. It was nice.
She's catching fish. I caught fish. I mean, we did start off the day with a 4.9, but then she caught one right after. Matter of fact, I was trying to put the 4-pounder in the live well, and I had to grab hers and bring it in the boat.
Wow.
And that's just how the day went. So that's really
So you were free, like you were freed up. Your mind was freed up because it was a win for you before you even made a cast.
Yeah, how
Right.
about that?
You were getting to fish with your daughter. You were getting to hang out with her at a cool event.
And truth be known, I kind of, I used her. I gave her a spin rod, 8-pound test. Because I'm a power fisherman, man. I mean, my lightest line I use down on flats is 14.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's got their own thing.
Yeah.
That's so usually if there's a finesse bite on down there and they're not biting power baits, you don't see me.
Right.
But, so, just to be able to go down there, I gave her something to use it as practice. I knew she would focus on it and stay with it.
Yeah.
Because she, like I was talking to you earlier, not that she doesn't know, I gave her 2 rods. One had a brush hog, one had a Cinco.
Yeah.
You choose whenever the little man up and the little voice in your head says,
Yeah.
go at it. But I
Yeah.
gave her that Cinco, and she stayed with it. She focused, and that, dude, I already won. It didn't matter. And then when we were doing good, I'm like, 9 o'clock, I got 16 pounds. I'm like, ooh. I said, we get 2 4-pound bites. We're going to be in the top 5. I said, we throw a 5 and a 4, we might be winning a boat.
Yeah.
And we just kept fishing and fishing. And don't you know, at the end of the day, or after 1 o'clock, she catches, I thought it was a 310.
Yeah.
And then I caught a 4.7 after that.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, it's like, you know how sometimes it just happened, man.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday at the event, and I look back on a lot of my wins, whether it's was a federation event or a tour event, but it seems like wins sneak up on you a lot, right? Like, they're not the ones where you go out and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to win. I got the mega load of fish. Those you usually don't win.
And a true story.
Something changes and you suck, and you don't even have like a money finish in those tournaments.
Don't
it's
ever
like,
win practice.
Yeah, it's like, but the ones like you're saying where
Michelle, my wife will tell you.
Yeah, and this
when
one,
I have my worst practices,
Yeah.
is when I win.
Yeah.
Because it's like, all right, I tried. You should have been doing this. You should have been doing that. I throw the book in. They don't read it.
Right.
Okay, I go up the next day and go, well, I usually catch them on whether maybe a chatterbait, a jig, a sink, or whatever it is, and that's what I go with. And then you let the fish tell you, and you just kind of go. And if it don't work out, sometimes you kick that trolling motor, But but it just, I still can't. I mean, I can't believe we won, only because it's so hard to win.
Yeah.
Every tournament I fish, I believe I have the skills to win, just like you do.
Yeah.
I want to win every tournament. I don't care what tournament it is.
Yeah.
But that tournament, I just wanted to do good just so I could take her across the stage.
Yeah.
She's just, it's,
Yeah. What's interesting, I want to tell you this. So I watched you guys weigh in, and I watched you bring the bag in, and you stopped in the one tank. You went up, and you weighed the fish. And I watched you come off stage, and I saw that you were happy, you were confident, but you didn't have the winning expression on your face when you weighed in. You were stoked and you were satisfied, I could tell. But as you walked away, I'm like, and I'm in my mind, because I know what everybody's weighing, I'm like, damn. And I'm like, I didn't know the exact numbers. I'm like, that's right up there, But I was just thinking in my mind, but I was watching you go, and you're like, he doesn't know. I'm looking at you, and I'm like, Mark doesn't know that that's a winning bag today. And I still didn't know at that point because we had other guys coming, but that was a winning class bag for a tougher day on the Upper Bay. You had no idea.
No, there was 12 flights.
Yeah.
And history on tidal water, that tournament's set up perfect for last flight.
Right. Low tide, 2 o'clock.
You had
Incoming
it.
tide at 3 o'clock.
Oh,
I know,
dude, I'm
man.
like, that tidal change can sometimes.
Dave, what flight were you?
We were my first time in my life a tournament angling, boat 1. You do not want to be boat 1 on the flats ever, dude.
No.
Boat number 1.
Well, you
in a
get to get
tournament.
to your spot and then watch 100.
Yeah, you get to get to your spot at slack high tide, dude. So, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, slack high tide in the middle ditch and
Yeah.
watch the other 100 boats come in on pad right next to you.
Mark, that's the awesomest thing about it. If you go, I don't know if you know John McGraw at all.
Yeah.
If you go to if you ask him, like our first spot before we found our mistake was where you were at. If you look at his GPS and you go into the details of that, we were right where. That's how we saw your boat and your motor. But we caught a 3 and we caught a 6 at a spot way out in the middle of nowhere, dude. And we died
In
there.
practice.
We died there
In practice.
forever, dude, waiting
Yeah.
for that to happen.
Yeah.
And then that's when we got to where you were at about 8 a.m. and hung out till about 10:30. And it's not, if I was with him or him, we would have been right up on you. But me and John, it's not us.
Yeah.
we didn't push up on you. We were just fishing
Well, that's
around
what the
you and
guys
then
that
we
actually that I.
left. You know? These two would have, they would have been within the rules.
Yeah, would have been. You're
You're
not.
not kicking that trolling motor for real.
I would have been kicked off.
Because I ain't bullshitting you. That's how we saw you.
Like guys that I know
was our,
pretty
that
well.
was our first spot.
Yeah, guys I know pretty well. They always give me room. When I was younger, that's what I said to my daughter. We had one guy do something really dumb, and I said, I've calmed down a lot.
Yeah.
Because if I was 30, it's like, Tony Goen told me back in the day, if you let these guys out here push you around, they will push you around. They'll take your spot from you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, I'll have none of that.
Yeah.
And we could tell stories all day about divisionals, guys.
About Five Alive? What?
No, we fished in the regional one year up in Raystown Lake, and a guy from Delaware hole jumped. He fished our guy that won was a rider, so he took the guy there. Well, Jersey, we always fished. They're our spots. They're not Delaware spots.
Yeah.
Well, the guy showed up on the spot, and I immediately went right at him. Right up to him. What are you doing here? Oh, Rich said I could fish here, and I was like, things didn't get so pretty, and he kind of made him leave. Well, at the end of the night, we're all having beers at the bar. We're drinking with the boys from Delaware. And the guy starts talking about, he said, you got this one asshole on your team.
You can say asshole.
Okay. He said, you got this asshole on your
Mike
team.
will be dropping
Some more whiskey. Yeah.
section 3.
But, and I'm sitting there laughing. I'm like, and we were getting along. I said, yeah, dude, that was me. And he's like, wow. I'm like, yeah, I'm the same guy that was going to kick your ass out on the water. What you're doing wasn't right. Come on, man. So I always stay away from crowds down there. I don't play well with others. So I just get away, do my own thing. And I had to I call it walking the dog. I have a couple boats. They come in on me, and I just walk them away. You lead them because they follow you.
Yeah.
And then you go back.
Yeah.
And I think the key.
Walk the dog.
You got to walk them away, man. I got to go walk the dog. Why?
That's a great term.
You got to leave the spot.
Wow.
Why? I got to go walk the dog because he's pissing on my spot. Now he's ruining it. Got to move.
Walk the dog.
And scored him out.
That's awesome.
It was terrible. But, but that tournament, yesterday I was like, how often can you fish down there, catch as many fish we did, and really?
Yeah, there was nobody within 200 yards of you because I know where you were at, and I know when we were like, God damn it, dude! Like we should have come here.
There's a couple little keys that I figured out up in there. Like I said, I found it last year. I just took the guys that worked with me for practicing, and I was actually flipping a pack of crawl at the time, and I whacked one almost 5 pounds. So I catch a 5 pounder, so I'm like, boop.
Yeah.
We found it on low tide with me standing on the front looking just for foldovers.
Yeah.
Looking for grass folded over. Like, all right, there's like 7 of them right there. Let's just stop right here. And that's how we found it, dude.
Yeah.
It wasn't much.
No,
it was visible on low tide, But
yeah, and it's a unique situation. I'm not going to explain this about totally because that's easier. There's some things out there that I've learned over the years that I'm sure guys in this room know what to look for.
Don't explain too, because Dave actually is on the wrong spot. So
we're not on the wrong spot.
No, I'm just saying that there's grass all over out there.
So hold on, Mark. How much moving around did you do? Did you move around a lot?
I sat on one spot and I fished. Maybe I don't think it was 100, maybe 50 yards.
Did you win? Yeah. Did you win from did you move from 8 to about 10:30 in the morning? Is that where you won?
No, I had 9 o'clock. I had 16 in the boat. At 1 o'clock, I had about 17 in the boat. And that's when I at 1:10. It was right around quarter after 1 is when she caught hers, and then 10 minutes later I caught mine. So between like 1:10 and 1:30, we caught we caught 2 key fish.
We saw you between about 8 and 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I caught. We were catching fish all through that time, but a lot of fish were all 2.5 pounds.
Yeah, okay.
Like 2.8 and 2.9 was
there.
there was, which is really nice to see when you fish a body of water. There's been a good spawning class out there for the past couple of years. So it was a mixture of that. Like I said, I get away from the crowds. I have my philosophy to all that, other than I just can't stand guys that block. It's like, it's like almost like, fishing needs to be like wrestling or something, or MMA. It's like, dude, you want to get this close.
Yeah.
I just believe everybody should be a little bit more courteous, but I understand it. All the big ones are here. Well, not all of them.
That's right.
The species would never survive.
That's right.
Big groups of fish down there. Dude, I love it because it always changes. You really got to be on your toes. Them sandbars.
Yeah.
I watch guys doing stuff. I'm going, look, I've been down here for 30 years. There's no way you know where you're going. You're just waiting for them to just
running over boat killers.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
But it was. All
right. So let's get this out of the way. There's people watching, and you don't have to get any specifics. Sure. People watching and listening right now that just want to know generally what were the baits that you guys went on. We don't need specifics.
Well,
generally.
We were using. We started out the morning with higher water, high slack. I mean, when it's high and slack, nothing's moving. So you might want to think about throwing something that's not moving.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like my philosophy, which has worked for years. And then we picked up a few fish early, and then as the day goes, I had a chatterbait.
Yeah.
When the wind picked up, there was a certain things. We all look at the water. We think we look at it the same, but we see different things.
Yeah.
You and I go down the bank, you might I've done it a lot of times, and I give guys spots. When you fish with a partner, you don't want to. I pick my prime spots, but there's spots it's like, all right, well, he'll get that one. It's like, and you go, I hope that 5-pounder ain't on, and they miss it.
Yeah.
So there's certain things I look for, but chatterbait, I caught a good one on. That Senko caught tons and tons of fish. There ain't no secret about that. There's several techniques. We rigged it, weightless and Texas rig.
Texas style.
Yeah.
And weightless.
Yeah. Like I caught the big fish on Texas rig. My daughter caught mostly everything else on the
All right,
side.
there you go, guys. Listen, no magic bait right
No.
there. It wasn't like some X prototype lure from Japan. It was same stuff that everybody's throwing out there, pretty much.
A Senko, brush hog, a chatterbait. It's like when you're fishing the flats, 33 go-to. I mean, there's a lot of different baits that work, but, we're coming into the time of year now. I think, your spinnerbaits and chatterbaits will probably come in a little bit more of a play now because they're going to feed up after the spawn.
Get more into that post-spawn
Yeah, for the
mode,
catfish with the spinner baits, dude. I could have had a catfish fry on one of our practices. Dude. I could have fed a platoon, man. It was.
Yeah, I like it when they fool you too, because you need that one big fish and you're throwing it all side and then you hang it and you're like, until that caddy rolls, you don't know.
Dude, I had an 8-pound caddy jump on tournament day. I'm like, net John, it's a tank. And it wasn't doing catfish shit.
No, not yet.
You know what I mean?
It jumped like a largemouth out there. That shit did a head shake.
They spin it. Dude, it was. I thought I had
it was the catfish that
there.
lives with the bass, and so he thought he was a bass.
Yeah, they were hanging out.
That's it. Yeah.
Catfished.
They were brothers. I do have to, Dave, real quick. I do want to tell the story because it's probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I want to tell the story to you.
Oh, gosh.
So Dave is early flight, right? So you're still out there fishing. You haven't even caught your good ones yet. And Dave's weighing in with John McGraw, and Dave doesn't even want to weigh. They've got 3 fish. You've got.
I wanted to throw them
Yeah,
back.
you've
John
got-
wanted to
you've
bring it
got-
in. He didn't want to have a 0 next to his
Yeah.
name. John,
So
I know
they've
you're
got
watching,
3
you shouldn't
fish.
have
They've got
waited a
two good ones. They've got 2 good ones, 2 3+ pounders, and they got a smaller one. And so Dave's like, "Come on, John, we don't need to weigh this." Oh no, he wants to walk past Dave. So all right. So John gets his fish, and I get it because I like weighing them too. Like I like weighing them. You work hard. You want to at least go up. If you got a fish to weigh, just go weigh it, right? So I understand that. John, I know you're watching. I get it. So John goes up there and, screw it, man. He's supporting a kids event,
Right on.
I'm his friend, he's just happy, He's gone up, got to spend a day with his buddy Dave, spending time with your friend's a hard thing, So he's happy. He's gone up. He weighs his fish. As he's gone through this process, Dave's telling me about his day, and like, it just didn't work out and this and that. And, we only got 3. And, Dave's explaining to me. And then all of a sudden, John comes. He weighs in. I don't see any of this happen. I don't hear any of this. He comes back. John's like dejected, like head down. Like what? Like what happened? John's like, I didn't. Man, one didn't count. We only got to weigh 2. I didn't know it was a 15-inch size limit. I tried weighing in one. It was like 13 and a quarter.
Not even, dude. It might have just been 12, bro. That was the only one I put in the bucket.
That was yours?
Yeah. It was our first fish. I'm like, it was our first fish, like an hour left. I'm like, dude, are we even putting this in here? Or are we just going home, dude?
So awesome. So not only did they only weigh 3, well, they actually only weighed 2.
Yeah, we ate a penalty, bro.
That's so awesome, man. What a great story.
Yeah. But you know what? John, hold on now, Brian.
But wait, before you tell me this, when John came and said that,
he was mad.
he was mad. But when you heard it, do you remember your reaction, dude? You were like, "Oh, John!" Like, dude, it was like you started like moving your head, like, "Oh, come on, John! You don't even know the rules."
That's his job. That's it. We rely on John to know shit.
Yeah, and then
He's
John
our
hit you
smartest
right
friend,
back.
dude.
He said, "Dave, you shouldn't have bullshit. You should know the rules too."
Yeah, he's our smartest friend. You're supposed to know that. I rely on you to be the smartest friend. It's your job to be the smartest friend all the damn time.
You're the funny friend.
I'm the funny.
He makes the jokes,
I'm
you got
the
the
one that
rules.
apologizes for jokes. John's the smart guy. He knows everything. He knows how to get
That was
to places.
John's boat, right?
Oh my God.
John's boat?
John's boat.
Oh, well, come
He
on.
knows how to get to places without GPS, like weird places. Like he's smart. He's the smartest guy we know.
Yeah, he's got a Fed
Just can't
tournament. He's got a Fed tournament next weekend.
Nah, he's supposed to know that. I never for 1 second would have questioned the limit size when John was like, "Yeah, put it in the bucket, man." Like, I was thought he was on top of it, dude. I didn't read nothing.
Here's the best
Yeah, I had a license. If I didn't have to submit a license to Kate, I wouldn't even have had one.
Here's the best part about the whole thing. Most of the anglers that fish with us don't pay attention. So we text, we email, and we hand out the information the morning of.
Still don't
You
work.
get the information 3 separate ways, 3 separate times, and John still didn't know.
No, man. And I
awesome.
that blew me away because like
Can't
I
make me
can
know.
mention the most obscure things that would leave him and him with their mouth 2 inches agape because I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. And he's like, "Oh yeah, but did you follow up on it?" He throws it right back at me, man. Like that dude knows everything, man.
Except for size limit.
Except for the size
Except for
limit.
the size
He made
limit.
the penalty on stage with a 5-pound bag because he wouldn't throw him back and we couldn't go home early.
Right. So he asked for it.
That was awesome. Besides you winning the boat, I would say that was the best moment of the tournament for me.
John's reaction, like, dude, it wasn't. He was so mad at me. I'm not supposed to know that. I'm the friend you don't count on for the rules because I break them all, man. I will break every rule.
Right. Back earlier before the.
It's so, yeah.
Don't
He
rely
made-
on Dave for
yeah.
knowing that stuff.
He made up
not.
his own rule in the studio,
Oh, well,
which
yes, I
wasn't
will.
a real rule.
No, it was the opposite.
That's
of
why
the
it
It
right
was the
rule.
opposite.
That's why it's in bold black letters,
Yeah.
15-inch. Okay.
No, I didn't read
Yeah.
any
You're here
of
for
that,
jokes.
Mark.
That's it, man.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, I want to jump back. Dude, you've won your share of events over the years, and we're going to take a break after this conversation, and we're going to jump into a little history. But I want to know, we're a day away. It was yesterday. Relive the moment. When did you realize that you had won the tournament? When did you know that you won, and what was the feeling yesterday?
Well, when I knew I won, I was, had Keith Callan and his brother Zach and a bunch of guys, Sean McNee, everybody.
Hammers, by the way.
Oh,
all
every one
upper
of them.
Chesapeake
Yeah.
Bay
Sean
hammers.
McKee winning a boat and he ever starts.
Yeah, all good fishermen, all good young men that I feel privileged of meeting because I met them all when I got back into the nation so I can, achieve my dream, make it to the Classic. And they're like, dude, you think you got it? And you hear the young Connors coming up with a 20-some pound bag. And I'm like, dude, I don't care if the scale's off. 19 and a half pounds on my scale doesn't win tournaments down here.
Yeah.
Right.
Even a tough, so there's always, when you put 140 boats,
Yeah.
there's somebody had to catch
Some
20.
dope
Yeah.
with a chatterbait in the last hour is going to get 21
Yeah.
pounds, dude.
Yeah.
It
I don't care
happens,
what
right?
happens.
And that title change.
Yeah.
And
Incoming time.
and I saw, like, when I weighed in, so we're standing there. So the moment I knew I won is when you said second place, and you said and Lunker. I looked at the kid like, we won. She's like, we won. I was like, we won. We did not have Lunker. We won. And then it was,
Wow.
I was hugging her. Keith Callan comes over. He gives me, we're hugging her, we're chest bumping. It was like, yeah, dude. It's like, because it's, what I've been going through my life, and just to be able to come back with time off and then to compete with, I wasn't competing against the other anglers. I'm competing against the flats, which that's one of my bodies of water.
Yeah.
I've been kicking butt down there a long time. But when you have guys that fish it as long as you have and have the same skill sets, and then these younger guys come in and you guys come up with the Bass University and the information and the knowledge.
crazy. Yeah.
I mean, oh my God, I wouldn't change anything I've done in my life, but I sure wish they had this fishing stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah.
High school, God, I probably would have went to college.
Yeah.
But instead of working.
Right.
But that moment when you said that, I was just like, hey, man. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was just.
It's the
That's
coolest.
crazy. So you didn't
Yeah.
get that excited feeling until you heard the second place call.
Yeah. Till the very, and that was the very end.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Usually you have that feeling.
Usually you
I've never
know.
had it, but I know guys that did. And they've told me that you
Same here.
you know
I've
you
listened
got
to
it.
guys who have won stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Guys that have actually
but until here's the thing: until you know, you don't know.
I know.
Until you.
I knew I had a top 5 bag. Okay, I knew we were going to place top 5, which I was very excited about. Because I get my, taking her for the first event like that. We fished smaller. We fished Cooper River one year.
Yeah.
When I first got with Michelle and her daughters, and we fished the Cooper River. I don't know how many years ago it was. They on the lake I live on. They were going to have this little buddy tournament. Well, my boat, my original, I still have my Fisher Marine from 1979 that I first bought. Why sell it? It's ain't got to feed it. And it needed work. It needed carpet and everything. Well, she stripped that boat down, put carpet, re-riveted, did everything to get that boat ready to fish.
Wow.
So when we were fishing out there, and I seen at 9 o'clock, I had 16 pounds. I was like, ooh, I got over 5 hours to get 2 good bites.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like them odds.
Yeah.
And like I told her, I said, you know what? I don't care where we fall. I know we got a top 5.
Yeah.
I said, I said that 3, it was a 3.5 that I had. I thought it was a 3.1, but I had a 3.5. It was my smallest fish. I, in my heart, knew I needed a 5-pound bite. I figured I needed 21, 22 pounds.
Yeah, always.
With the people that were in that tournament.
Yeah.
It's, hey, I mean, that's just how the cards fall sometimes.
Yeah.
It's, but I knew I was doing good. I mean, dude, your first fish, was a 4. Everything was, I didn't fish clean far as hook sets.
Yeah.
They caught me off guard a little bit, but the whole day I just made that right decision in the morning, landed right on them, and stayed on them.
Yeah, and when you know you win, when you finally do know you've won, it's like a relief,
Oh, it's
because I can remember just a quick story, like even on when the elites fished the Delaware, and like on the last day. And in the elites, I love the elites because you don't know, right? MLF, everything at every minute.
Right.
But in those bass events, you don't know, you know. And I remember even after I caught my 5th keeper, like I fished like I needed 20 pounds to win that day. And I didn't know. I didn't know I had it won on my first keeper of the day.
Right.
I didn't know
You don't
any
know
of
that.
And I remember when I got back to Penn's Landing, and I had Wes with me, one of the camera guys, Wes, who's a great friend, shoots for JM. And I never did this before, but as I was idling in, went past the check-in, and then you idle past the wall where all the fans are at, I looked at him, I'm like, you got to tell me. You got to tell me. Did I win? You got to tell me. And he pulls his phone out of his pocket, and he's like, you got it. And he told me. But up until that point,
Yeah, you didn't know.
you don't know.
But isn't that
you
when you
know?
trimmed up and wow?
Oh, yeah.
That part of the story. Why not?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know the thing that when you're fishing tournaments, you know when you're not going to cash.
Right.
That feeling when it hits you, guys ever been there? Like that last hour, and you're like,
Haven't left it. Can't seem to get out of that realm.
but you just know you're like,
Yeah.
and you're going through the motions. You're
Every
like,
day.
you know, it's the chances because just how the day's going, what you're catching, you're just, you're just not, you're always chasing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yesterday, on the flats, I never feel that like I'm chasing down the flats.
Right.
I mean, I've been in situations. I know what to throw down there. I know what they bite. I've
Yeah.
been in weed beds and around fleets and watched catch them. I can't get a bite. And
Yeah.
you're sitting there going,
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
But you can just go why and go, well, that's fishing because that's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, they don't call it catching, they call it fishing.
Right.
So it's, but yeah, I was excited. I was like, I didn't want to get her hopes up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and, you know, like, oh, we won, we got the boat. I was like, I said, we did pretty good. I said, 17-9. I said, and then I heard 17-something, so I thought I had 17-8-4. Because once you said, whoever called out 17, or, when you called out the 17,
Yeah.
I was like, my brain just went blank after that.
Yeah.
Did she start counting yet and raining that Jeep Wrangler money in your face like seconds, yo?
No, she was totally surprised.
Yeah.
Because it's, she just can't believe that we won a tournament.
Yeah.
You
When
know,
I heard you and your daughter won, I immediately thought of like if me and my son won, he would want like his TV his room like 360 with TVs and like video game consoles and every YouTube super channel.
yeah,
Game consoles.
no, she she has her own place now. She's 30. She's a manager at a Walmart, and so she didn't. There was one kid standing there, and he goes, as after I was talking with Brian. And then he looks over and he goes, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $10,000 for the boat right now. She goes, we'll take it. I'm like, whoa. No, we won't.
Yeah.
No, 10 grand's not a deal, honey.
Not a good deal. In today's market, not a good deal.
Not a good deal.
So, hey, Mike, let me correct something from earlier. The only time I ever knew that I won a tournament on the way in was when he and I set the record on the Delaware River. Because you looked in the Delaware, we looked in our live well, and they're back. Like, you never have it where the backs are sticking out of the water.
Well, that's 17, whatever. What did you have, 17 3/4?
No, it was an 8-fish limit, and it was like a 3-pound average. So it was like 24 and change.
24 inch. Yeah, that's
So
ridiculous.
but our best would have been at least 19 pounds.
Yeah.
On the river, dude.
Yeah, that's insane.
But that's the only time I ever knew we won. My boat was completely destroyed.
Yeah.
We didn't have no trolling motor. We blew
That was my boat.
No, it was my boat. I stripped my trolling motor. Remember, I was steering the trolling motor. I had to take the head off, and I was steering it from the gears.
You might be right.
Yeah, I know I was right.
In my head, it was my boat.
like Pong.
Dude,
Atari.
we stripped the cable. Like, we blew
See?
the cables.
Because they're
Bigfoot.
stuck in the mud.
And we had to, exactly. Bigfoot. We had to I had to take the head off, and I had to like steer the motor from the gears. This is before like all you spoiled brats with your friggin' what do they go servos now? Steering the motors. It's back when you had cables wheeling things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love that he has to like bash someone
Someone's getting
yeah.
insulted.
somehow
you have
while
to.
It's
explaining.
me
Definitely.
exuding low self-esteem on someone else.
Oh, man.
Hey,
Yeah,
I had
but
someone.
you know
Speaking of that, Sleepy Joe had to shame me. He says, "Let me have these glasses, Sleepy Joe, you prick." He says, "How does Dave, who was a cop and best friends with a pro fisherman, not know the rules? Come on, man." Because I didn't read them, Sleepy Joe. That's why. Because I don't pay attention.
Dave
to
don't
that.
read, bro.
Rules are for
Followers.
Thank you, Brian. And the sheep.
Oh, jeez. No, but you know what? That is the one thing I love about our antiquated weigh-in. We've never tried to figure out a way to put the weights up because it's beyond us how we would do it.
Yeah.
So we've just never even tried.
Yeah.
Like, we weigh in and everybody talks. And then everybody hangs out. Like, back when we were in Camden, we had a beer garden. People just hung
Yeah.
out in. Like,
Yeah.
everyone, that's the nice part. Like, most of the anglers might put their boat on the trailer, but then they all kind of come back and hang out.
Yeah.
And we could get sophisticated. I'm sure we could figure it out. But why?
Yeah.
It's so much more fun like
I like
this.
it. I like
so,
the way it
so
is.
that I don't
Way
have to
more
stay until the very last moment. I can go to the bathroom. I can get a drink
Yeah, but why?
because I had to go to the bathroom and get a drink. It's really bad.
Brian had to get an orange crush.
Definitely.
So it's
Yeah.
not Brian.
Yeah.
I
I
have to
definitely
figure it
enjoyed the
out.
atmosphere at Camden better than I did in Northeast.
What?
I like the beer garden.
Well, so
Yeah.
it's been last year because of COVID, we were unable
No, it was
to have like a
ridiculous.
beer
It's
garden.
horrible.
And then because Naughty Goose is there, it's
Yeah.
tough. But I think because we've been going, we actually had this conversation, and the ladies and I have talked about it. Like, we need to find a way to work with Naughty Goose or
Right.
do something to have that beer garden, like something there.
Oh, I'm sure they'd be all for it if they set up like a stand there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Saw them
Yeah.
orange crushes. They were delicious. I never had one until
Yeah.
Keith goes, here, try this. I'm like, oh, dude, they're dangerous.
yeah.
Yeah, they're dangerous.
I didn't have one. I had 3.
Several. Several. Here's the other thing I want to run past you, and I'm a big believer in this, but I want to hear it from you. So, you know, when you won yesterday, when I called you up and you know, it was all official, it was a cool moment for me because I've known you for so long. We've competed against each other for so long, and it was a cool moment for me. But like, I had a flashback to you fishing that event last year. And I remember us talking last year, and you were, you know, filling me in with, you know, what your life, you know, what's been going on with you, you know, over the last few years. And it seems like, to me, it's like a lot of times when you win, it's like, I don't want to say meant to be, but the timing's right. Like, when I won the Classic, like, dude, my life was sort of in the toilet. I was losing some sponsors. I had written it off. I was out, you know, like in my mind, I was done. And it was like that win, like, was meant, you know, it was like a big thing for me at that time, right? It sort of uplifted me again from the ashes,
Yeah,
you
it
know?
lets you know that your path in life that you're taking.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's, you know, we all know what deja vu is. Okay. A lot of times you whatever it is, it happens. You get that deja vu.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's the first time I was here.
Yeah.
So it was meant to be.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was meant to be.
Yeah.
It's just meant to be. And when it comes to these, you know, like I said, everything I went through personally where I had to stop fishing, which
Yeah.
was, God, man, that's like a damn death sentence.
Yeah.
And but I had to.
Yeah.
You know, I did what I had to do. I fought my battles. There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And in the end, you know, I beat the
Yeah.
I don't have the cancer.
Yeah.
That's gone. The treatments were the downfall of it. That's the side effects is what almost took me out.
Right.
And from errors that people make, but
Yeah.
you're dealt the card.
Yeah.
And I never gave up. I still want to fish the Classic, dude. I mean, I want that in the damn worst way.
Yeah.
You know, when we qualified, you and I qualified the same year for the top 150s.
We did.
You know, and
We did.
We had conversations of our lives that you and I were going through. Like,
Yeah.
I remember you and me sitting around one time. I don't even know where we were at, but we were talking about, and I remember you looked at me and you said, dude, how the hell are we fishing and competing with our lives turned upside down?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, because this is the only time we can shut it out.
Right.
You know, when you're going
Yeah,
out water and fishing,
Yeah.
I'm able to, you know, like you hear me talking earlier about, like, I don't want to be around crowds. I really don't want to, not that I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Because I'm a jabberjaw, dude. I talk to everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I have my own business. I sell all the time.
Yeah.
But it's that focus. You could just put that fish in. It's good for the soul. And you just like, damn, you were able to battle through it in your way.
Yeah.
You've become very, very successful. I'm actually, proud to be your friend. I remember Timmy Roach's
Likewise.
days. Remember
Likewise.
that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the dreams, the meeting,
yeah.
the things we were coming up with, and I was like, wow, man, I'm with the right guys.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I didn't come from a background of tournament fishing. I was basically, learn on your own. And
Yeah.
back in the day where everybody kept their damn mouth shut.
Right.
Nobody pointed, they're like, I'm not telling you because I might get that sponsorship.
Yeah.
It was really tight-lipped. So, so I, talked with you and Pete, and, I basically had to drop out. And like I said earlier, I had to, I didn't quit. I just had to punt.
Right.
But when I dropped back to punt, somebody blocked it.
Right.
So,
Right.
so it set me back a little bit further.
Yeah.
But I never gave up that dream and that desire
to
want it. And when I went through all these difficulties, and then I started, last year was the first time I fished in any tournament, was the team tournament up on Lake Champlain.
Yeah.
With all these new young guns.
Yeah.
And I made it to 5th, and everyone there, I mean, it was a pretty emotional moment because they're all clapping for me and they're yelling. Luke Schrader, remember, he looked at, he goes, "He's back."
Yeah.
And dude, it hits me to the heart. It just breaks, it's just something that you have that, when you have that passion in life for something and it's almost taken away from you.
Yeah.
And you're knocked down.
Yeah.
And I refused to quit. And then I saw a movie a couple of years ago. It's called The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a true story until she told, because I was getting pissed because it was like, dude, I mean, how much can a guy take?
Yeah.
And so that's like, just think about stuff like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's when things get tough, it's like, forget about why me. Okay, ask the question.
Yeah.
Maybe have it shot and get it out of your system. But you're the only one that can answer that question. You're the only one that can, no matter you have a supportive wife, like you have, I have, and, and friends, you up here is what you got to have right. And I just am fortunate enough that I'm able to stay focused on my end game.
Yeah.
And I'm still have that focus. And then when you see these new young guys coming on, it's like, wow, man, there's some really good young men up there.
Good
and
guys,
you know what? And I love seeing them, and I just love it when I come out and top and I beat them, because it's like, the old dog still got it.
Yeah.
I don't have all them fancy electronics. I really need to hire somebody to go out and teach me how to use them, because I've been using them for 10 years and I don't know how to use them.
Right.
I can turn it on.
Yeah.
Zoom in, zoom out. Man, I'm just not really good, but I'm old school. Give me a flasher, how deep it is, and let me go.
Yeah.
It's like I said, fishing's nothing but a mental game.
Yeah.
I should have brought this statement something, but if it's all state of mind. If you think you lost, you're going to lose.
Right.
I never think that way. I always think I'm going to win. I always think I'm going to do good. I always feel it, and then sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
And this weekend, everything worked.
It's awesome. Well, it's
Right on, man.
I always say that you don't put it into the universe.
Yeah.
You don't put the negative into the universe.
Yeah.
Isn't that what I always tell you?
Oh, yeah.
Don't even put that thought out into the universe, because the universe could take it.
Yeah.
And make that the reality.
And I went to a seminar years ago. A guy speaking, just improvements, and there was, different things. And one thing he brought to my attention is, like, you get a negative thought in your head, and if you get a negative thought about something, your mind will automatically run with that negative thought.
Yeah.
But it does, and your mind, when you have a positive thought, it doesn't keep running with a positive thought. It's like a human nature. So you have to teach yourself, like, when something bad happens, just tone it down. If you got to kick that troll motor or yell or scream to get it out of your system, let it out.
Let it out real quick.
And then go forward.
And go forward.
You're no stranger to that.
I know all about that. I know all about that. But fishing for you is a passion, and that you were able to get back to it.
Yeah.
And that, I heard you talk that it was therapeutic. It was for me over my career. When I had downs, when I was going through depression, when all that stuff happened, fishing got me through it. I know it's the same for you.
Yeah.
But, dude, when I got to announce that yesterday, knowing everything you've been through, it was an awesome moment for me.
Oh,
I got to tell you, it was, 6 years we've given that trophy away to a lot of great fishermen. Luke Schrader, Senator, a lot of guys that we fish with that are amazing local anglers. I was proud to give it to all of them, but it meant a lot to me yesterday that you won, and I'm so happy you did.
I appreciate it, man. I'll tell you, it was
big win.
Hell
Big
yeah.
win,
Hell
Mark.
Yeah, dude.
Big win, Mark.
That was
An old
awesome.
Federation warrior, dude.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Yes.
it's I never saw myself at 60. I don't feel like I'm 60. I'm around guys that are a little bit younger than me, all, and that how they're old men, and that I don't I still hang with them 30, 40-year-old retards. You know, we still you know, it's like it's just a number, and I have a goal set. I mean, Michelle and I would talk about all the time. It's where I want to go. I want to fish that damn classic.
Yeah, that's a goal. That's a goal.
Yeah,
that's your goal.
And
Bassmaster Classic.
And then when you guys say if you know, and then I just believe in my heart, if I make the damn thing, I'm going to win it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
See, I would show up with the missus, and I'd be the second person holding your big fat head up on a stick. Bro.
Nice. That's right. That's right. All right, now listen.
Yes.
You said something, Dave, which I like, and it's a great segue. We're going to take a break. But you said Old Federation Warrior.
Oh, come on.
And listen, we're going to, dude, now this was an awesome first segment, but we're going to start going deep on you on the second segment. I want everybody watching tonight. I hope you're having a great time. I know we are. We're talking to Mark Schaefer here on Ike Live. Of course, won the tournament. We're going to come back, Brian. We'll take a little bit of break. When we come back, we're going to start digging deep. We're going to start talking about old stories. In fact, we might even have a couple old school guests come on the line tonight here.
Nice.
So
nice.
We'll see who comes in. All right, hang in there with us. Go get a beer. Take a leak. When we come back, more Ike Live. Come on, Brian. Come on, Brian. You can do it. Come on, Brian. Come on, Brian.
We're still live.
Come on.
This commercial segment is brought to you by.
Yeah. Well, while we're waiting, let's see.
I think they got redone. They just didn't get labeled in any way that makes any sense.
Heshi Socks.
All right. Heshi Socks.
Flambeau Tackle Storage.
Yeah, Flambeau Tackle Storage.
Empire Covers.
Empire Covers.
For your boat, your RV.
Doesn't matter. Whatever you got.
Half a spot.
This isn't
Fish
showing
the
up right, so I'm
tournament.
going to try this.
Okay.
So everybody just
Mystery Tackle Box will unbox tonight.
We will.
Live.
Live.
The only web show that does that.
She knows
Go
the
ahead,
promos
girl.
better than we do.
Keep that up for another minute and a half.
Keep going. Here. Keep going.
Hold on, let me try this. Is that right?
you try
Hold
it.
still?
You know that you can visit any of our sponsors and use the code Ike Live for a discount.
Yes, that's true.
Who am I missing?
No, you
Liquid Mayhem. They have been with us since the beginning, and I'm telling you that stuff is stinky and it catches fish. So you get yourself some of that. You stick it on your baits, and you will catch more fish.
Here's a couple more.
Hobie, is there any other kayak company? I say no more.
This is amazing.
Yeah, it's better than me.
This is outstanding.
Torpedo.
Yes,
It is fully endorsed by Vegas the Hammer.
that's true.
Nice.
Yeah.
Everyone needs the electric trolling motor Torpedo. In the next 10 years, you'll probably have to purchase the Torpedo for your bass boat. Start saving up for the $1 million motor you
right.
need so it's not gas powered.
All right, got two more right up here.
TH Marine, keep your fish alive with G-Juice.
Juice. That's a good.
Every little part, piece, thing you never even knew you needed is at TH to keep your boat fully equipped. Get the Kong mount, get the... What's the noisy thing?
The Hydrowave.
Hydrowave.
Yes.
You need it. It's
You need it.
It's like dolphin noises for the fish. It
right.
lures them in. And the Bass University, because
go.
the Bass
That's it.
University will educate you on every one of these things, and it'll teach you how to catch more
Mark's
fish.
even got the hat on, if you notice right there.
Oh yeah.
Any day, Brian, or I'm going to make up sponsors.
Okay. Well, we don't even need to take a break now because that was the break.
I
We did it
kind of
all.
forgot two of the most important. Make sure you're drinking your Founders.
We are. And what is the beer tonight we're drinking? What
And
are you,
your
what are you
tin
drinking,
cup
by the
whiskey.
way?
I've got the Masagave.
Masagave tonight?
Yeah, but what was the special Masagave you got me?
I think it was the
Prickly pear.
prickly pear.
Prickly pear, because it allows you
Yeah.
to be a commercial segment.
It does. And, of course, I'm drinking the all-day IPA. And you mentioned tin cup whiskey. Of course,
Yeah.
we're drinking, what are we drinking tonight? The rye or the, what do we got?
I'm
the
not
regular?
sure what they poured, but I think.
Oh, we're drinking the rye tonight.
rye.
So cheers to everybody.
And there's a 10-year-old. Is that what you said?
There's a 10-year, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian might find those commercials any day.
Okay, well, that was the commercial. Okay.
I think I covered them all. Well, I hate to break to y'all, but I was going to sneak out during that commercial segment because there's 2 small children just sitting in the house right
That's
now.
not good. That's
with
not
food
good.
still on the counter.
Well, Beck, tthanks for hanging with us for
Thanks.
a little over an hour. That was awesome.
Thanks.
And the sponsor recap was great.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. It was awesome.
Miss Janet will be so proud.
She will be proud of you. You know it better than I did.
Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye, Beck.
See ya.
Kiss them kids for me. Let me also remind everybody, if you're watching over on Facebook, we do have a Ike Live gift bag. If you like and share the Facebook feed, you're going to be entered in a chance to win that amazing bag. Don't forget, if you got a question or a comment for anything you're hearing tonight, please hit us up on the IMs. Dave's handling them over there tonight. Also, I'll start checking the other social media feeds at Ike Live Show, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you got any questions, send them through. Brian, we're good. We don't even need a break. Anybody have to pee? Yeah. We're good.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, they're just not here.
You know what's
man.
funny, though? You're
I
like,
think they got like redone, and
I don't know, but here's looking at it from this way, the funniest thing is like, I can tell you're like looking. You're like, oh, they're just not here. But then I see you like looking like on the floor, like they've fallen somewhere. Like
it's such a
here's the
mess.
commercial segment. It's sitting here like it's fallen. Take this.
Oh my, I had the back of the computer off. I got my screwdriver out. I was looking. It's inside. It's not in there.
Like it's an old like Commodore 64.
Yeah.
Taking the big panel off.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. But if you want, I can get our guests up. Just give me like a couple minutes
Yeah.
to give them the signal.
That'll work.
All right.
That'll work. All right.
Cool.
While we're doing that, Mark, I'm trying to go back to the annals of history here for me, and I think one of the first tournaments I remember meeting you, or maybe at that point I was still like a quiet little co-angler, but I remember seeing you at a Delaware River tournament through the Federation. And back then we used to like launch it. I think it was Frankfurt Arsenal, wasn't it?
Oh, God, yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
And dude,
And
there wa-
Burlington.
yeah, and there was a certain like reputation back then among anglers, right? And it was funny because it was like Richie Schneiderite.
Yep.
It was of course Ed Cowan. It was you. Like there were certain guys, and I remember I was new to the Federation at that time. So like it's almost like a school dance. It's like it's like the cool kids and then like everybody else. And I remember just like, oh man, like looking like I want to be one of those guys one day, and like just I want to be a guy that walks up to weigh-in and like, everybody's like, that's the guy. You were that guy when I started fishing the Federation.
Wow, that's cool.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And that's what I mean. Like this has all come full circle, and then I got to compete. And, for me, it was like a stair step. It took me a couple years, and I
Yeah.
started to find my groove. And then
Yeah.
I made a team and made a divisional. And, it all started to happen. But, dude, it seems like yesterday. And that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That was 30 years ago.
Yep.
And it seemed like yesterday.
Yeah, I think the first year I fished the Federation was like 1988.
88.
It
Yeah.
was my first year.
Yeah.
And or 87 might have been like I think 87. It's when I got in the Garden State Bass Match. I mean, I lived over in Williamstown around. I lived on a pike though, but anyway, there's 5 lakes over there.
Yeah.
And nobody fished. Didn't say nothing. So anyway, I go to this Bass Expo show up at the Civic Center, and who do I run into? The guys, Garden State Bassmasters.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, there's clubs?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You didn't even know.
No, I had no clue. I mean, even though I was on the Anglers Pro Shop, Don was a great guy, and some of the best. I learned more from that dude.
Shout out to Don Sky.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Hydra Spinnerbaits.
Oh my God.
Skalinsky.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that Hydrolure spinnerbait, the guys, you talk about Richie Schneiderite, George Hutchison, Ray Schmid. Let's go back even further. How about Jack Coyote?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tom Prashevitz. I think Tom's still fishing. I know Ray Schmid's still fishing.
I got a great Tom story. For
And
later.
there's a lot of them, dude. There's a lot of them. But and I got very fortunate because my first year back, like I said, when I was in Garden State, they always incorporated one of their club tournaments with the federation.
Yeah.
And the first one was on Lake Apacon. Well, I have in aluminum boats, the little John boats and all, and you go to Lake Apacon, and next thing you know, there's like 80, 90 of these bass boats, and I'm like, oh my God! Like, remember your first time seeing it?
Oh
like,
yeah.
Oh my, this is. And then I got in one, and then I'm like, I want me one. I want one of these.
Yeah.
But then I competed on Garden State with them. You had to fish their club tournaments, and I made their team, and I didn't even fish their team because I wound up joining Mega Bass 6.
Yeah.
George Hutcherson.
Yeah.
One of the old school that's still fishing. George is still fishing with us today, and he's still one of the better fishermen. I'll tell you what, I got fortunate to get around, like you said, the guys that
Good guys
that were willing to show me and help, what they did.
Right.
And, so I, when as a rider, I fished with Jack Coyote on the Hudson River. Back in the day, Jack Coyote was one of the sticks on the Hudson River, so I got to learn from him he showed me things to run and do. And I was very, very fortunate that a lot of the older guys that were very successful in the nation back in the time, these guys fished bass back then.
Yeah.
Coyote, Steve Wisniewski.
Yep.
Brian and his son, they moved. We're still in touch with them. There was a John Carpenter.
John Carpenter. Yeah.
All these sticks to fish. Well, I
Yeah.
got to fish with a Jack Coyote, and these guys actually opened up and shared things with me back when everybody was more tight-lipped.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you guys run into me anywhere. I'm honest. Some people say, dude, why'd you tell them that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not the case. I have a philosophy. You can't make the cast I make. So, if you're, in other words, I'm not being like you can't make a cast into a bucket. I'm talking about, all right, where we were fishing yesterday, right? What are the odds you making that exact same cast I made?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Right.
pretty slim.
So I got an old school. Do you remember Stuart Riccio?
Yeah.
So
Still Riccio.
I was a kid, and I drew him on Greenwood as a co-angler. And it was the first big boat I ever drove. He let me drive the boat on Greenwood. I didn't want to drive it too long. I was afraid.
Yeah.
I didn't know. We were in crawdads at the time.
Greenwood
I
Lake.
was afraid I was going to hit something. I was just like, I drove for maybe no more than 15 seconds before I powered it down. Like, nah, I'm good. Like I didn't even get to enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those guys. There was but like I said, those guys kind of opened up to me. And when I fished with Tom Perivich on Greenwood Lake. So I got really lucky and got drawn with really my first year as a co-angler with all the top guns.
With the good guys, and you were able to watch and learn. And listen.
You learn. Sometimes you learn what not to do.
Right.
So that was really that's what got me started. Once I got that, I bought my first bass boat from George Hutcherson. I got that. I think that was 1988, and dude, I made it to my first year. I didn't make the team that year on the nation, but I made it through Operation Bass. I'm up fishing down in Kentucky Lake, some young kid, and you know how big Kentucky Lake is.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I'm talking about intimidation.
Yeah.
You come from the Northeast, he's a little lake, and you go down there, you're like, wow.
Well, you thought Hapakong was big, and then you get there.
You look at the map, you're like, there's 3 maps? I know how to break stuff down. You don't fish all 3 maps. You do your process and come up with where you want to go and stuff like that. But it's I feel honored you say that about me at the river. I don't think of myself anything.
Yeah, you were the guy. That group you named and more, you were the guys. And for me coming in, it was like that's what I want to do. I want to be that guy. I want to have that respect, that reputation.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to do things that you think. I was going to say when I fished with one year, we went up to Thousand Islands. And I drove up with George Hutcherson in his van. Back we slept in vans and all that stuff back in the day. Everybody did, right? You put in your time, We all started out sleeping in back of trucks and working our butts off Friday nights, leaving, driving up, and stay. Where'd we stay at Lake Apacon? Lake Apacon, I forget where we stayed, but Greenwood Lake, we always stay at that diner up there and sleep behind the diner. We all get up in the morning and get breakfast, right? Or half the guys would just stay up all night drinking and slobbering in the morning. And but I got to experience all that stuff with the those guys. But anyway, talk about the hydro spinnerbait. Don was one of the first people that his silver shiner, and he made he called it like a herring, a blue herring. It was a black, blue tinsel, white belly, red gills. Don was a big. He taught, dude, that red gill.
Yeah.
Yeah, the red.
Yeah.
Well, what's everything? Red hooks.
Parachute front.
Parachute.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. God, I wish they still make them.
Yeah.
But there are some companies that come close, but nothing is like a hydro. But them guys kind of were laughing at me because I fished with Jack Chiatti up on one day. I got the fish where I fished with George and Jack and I forget Richie maybe, and my spinnerbait. I was waffling him. I was kicking his ass, and he's like turns around, looks like at my spinnerbait, he goes, "What the hell is that? A Studio 54 spinnerbait?" So now I'm known as the guy. Dude, he throws them Studio 54 spinnerbaits. It's got all that tinsel. It's got this. It's got, and I'm like, you want one?
Yeah.
No, we don't want one.
Yeah.
No, we're good. We're no good. And I don't think it was until that club was Clearwater,
Yeah, I remember that.
Richie and all them guys. And it took Petey to get in the club with them.
Yeah.
And Petey kicked their ass out of the back of their boats with the hydros.
With the hydra.
Then they woke up.
Yeah.
And then Don kind of, the business, he just.
Here's the thing, though. And we bust Dave's balls about it all the time, about being a little ahead of his time, in our circle. But I think Don was
Way
really
ahead.
ahead
He
of
was.
his time. You got to admit.
And
Way.
He was really
correct me
ahead
if
of his
I'm wrong,
time.
but Brian was the first one in our group to bring the Skalinsky spin bait into the. I remember
I
laughing
think
at
you're
him
right.
on Champlain.
I think you're right.
And he outfished me 3-1
I think
with it.
Brian was one of the first ones.
I
With
got
the
that from
hydras.
Rick Mashinsky, I think.
Old
Yeah.
Man Rick.
Yeah, old man Rick.
I was laughing at that thing. Like
Yeah.
I was throwing Stanley. Stanley was the spinnerbait back
Yeah.
in like late '80s, early
Yeah.
'90s. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And he's throwing out. I'm like, dude, what is that thing, dude?
Yeah, my introduction
Yeah.
to it when I first got one was, do you remember the Garden State Expo?
Yeah.
Used to be at the old racetrack.
Yeah.
You won the
I
tackle
won
box.
the tackle box.
How do you remember that?
Because I was working at the Anglers Pro Shop. I worked that show, and this
Yep.
young kid that came up with his
That
bag with
was-
all his shit on.
That was me.
I was with
That
him
was
there.
it. That was pre-Federation. I was
You
a
were-
fucking little punk.
15 maybe?
Oh yeah, I was a little punk, and Brian always busted my balls about it
Yeah.
because like we all at that show, we all put 50 tickets in or whatever.
Yeah.
We put as many. I
And of
can't
course
remember.
you win, you know?
But I won.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always.
I remember
And
that.
shock.
dude, I couldn't believe it.
It was that
dude.
big two-sided, that big
It was
tackle
a
box.
double
Yeah.
hit
I
box.
cannot
Top of the
believe
line. back
Load
then.
it.
Loaded with all the
it,
shit.
dude. All the Hydra stuff was in
Yeah.
there. Dance's eel. Like
that moment
everything
right
at the
there,
time.
like we were both naked. That was that moment where where my life went a certain way and Mike's went a certain way. You know what I mean? That was a pivotal moment.
But-
I would put myself on the camera, Mike, but
Brian, like you and I immediately take this
No
raffle. But Brian, Becky was saying earlier about visualizing success. Brian and I take our raffle tickets. We already know we can throw them out.
Yep.
He holds on to them a year later because he knows someone's going to call him later and say, "Hey, there was a mistake. You actually won." You know?
Oh my god. Oh my god. But
That's the difference.
yeah, but that was my introduction to it. But that was
I had no idea back then that you were going to be a classic champion.
Yeah.
But you know what? You thought you were going to be.
man, I was into
Because
it.
one thing you got to be in this sport, one thing I noticed, and a lot of people, some people don't like it, you got to be a little cocky.
Yeah. Well, you got to have confidence. I think cockiness and confidence
bragging
are
if
very
you can back
close.
it up.
Yeah. They're
That's
very
all
close.
success across the board. There's
Yeah.
no one's like a meek class B that or
Right.
B personality that
Yeah, you
kills
got to be.
it.
Yeah, you got to be aggressive,
gotta be
and you
an
got to
alpha.
have that desire. And as a young kid, he did. And you pay attention when you hook up with guys like a Don Sky. He has so many theories
Yeah.
that it's a shame they weren't unable to capitalize on it because I bet you, my own personal opinion, I'll bet you at least 25% of the products that are on the market today, guys are winning tournaments today, Don had it in his pocket, designed it 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So for you youngins watching, there was no internet, obviously, for us in the late 80s,
No
early
internet.
90s. There
No
was
cell
nothing.
phones.
So they had these books, these periodicals they would put out, like New Jersey, bass fishing lakes. And it
Yeah.
would be like different authors would contribute
Yeah.
to what works on what lake.
Yeah.
Well, Brian and I went to Lake George like a long time ago, and we're reading Lake George's version of that. And Brian, in like his best like bill collector voice, was like reading it. And it was just like, it was, I don't know, I'll never forget, like him, like, bass can be taken in the summertime on.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know, dude. But that's
Bass
what, like,
can be taken.
Skalinsky was in all of those types of
Yeah,
periodicals.
he was ahead of
you
his
know?
time with not just with bait and lure design and all that, but with the theory.
The
You're
media,
right.
the whole media.
All
he
of
was
it,
tied
for
into,
sure.
He used
dude.
to have
Like fish movement,
yeah.
like how
He
they
used to-
migrate it.
You know, I'll give a little secret out that a lot of people didn't realize. But years ago, Don would always do slideshows. You know, the seminars at his thing. I actually was fortunate enough that gave seminars back in the day at his shop also. But Don did a seminar, and he would go out and he caught these, wild shiners. And he takes these shiners and he puts them in his live well in his boat. And then he takes them out and puts them in there and gets the light on. Takes a picture of them from looking down at them. And then we take lizards. And we took the lizards and we put them on the bottom of the live well and took pictures of them. And then took the lizards in a live well and put the shiners in there. And you take the pictures and you look at them. And that's when I learned about fish see silhouettes. There might be some lizards in the water, but you don't see lizards swimming around the water.
Yeah.
Because fish see silhouettes.
Right.
That's what they see. I mean, what's the Cinco look like?
Right.
Well, just
Yeah.
it's silhouette's a bait fish. That's,
Right.
That's
Yeah.
the only thing it does. You know, a thin perch, they see
Yeah.
that silhouette. But when he showed me that many years ago,
Yeah.
that opened up.
That's crazy.
That opened up my eyes to everything. When you first see a brush hog, the first time you ever saw a brush hog, you're like, what
That's the
the
stupidest thing
hell
I
is
ever
that?
saw. Those elbows locked in.
Yo, lay that thing on a trash can and take a crayfish, lay it on
Yeah.
your trash can and look at it. You're going to go, damn.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. Speaking of ahead of their time, Brian the Carpenter.
Yes.
We have a special guest joining us,
Or two.
or two. Who do we got coming on? My eyes are terrible. I can't
That's
see
so
that screen.
awesome.
It's
I
so
love it.
small. Who do we got coming on?
We have your old travel buddies, man.
Who do we got here? I
It's
see.
Sully and Mansu.
Hey! Jesus, what a motley crew that is. Dave Mansu, Bob Soley joining us right now via the Zoom machine. Guys, how you doing tonight?
Fantastic.
Officer Mansu?
Doesn't he look fantastic?
Absolutely.
He is definitely a pretty bitch.
All right. First things first. Dave, first things first. We got Mark sitting over here. Just won the event yesterday. You want to say anything to this guy?
Mark, first off, as a cancer survivor, awesome job, dude. I'm so proud of you. To have won his tournament, and we all know what what a close friend he is, and everything that he does for his through his Ike Foundation. To have won that with your daughter, dude, that's got to be an amazing, amazing feeling. A moment in your life you'll never forget.
Yeah.
We'll never forget it, dude. It's a lifetime. I appreciate that, Dave. It's good seeing you on TV. I kind of miss you around, dude. I mean, we had some good times when we were all traveling together.
We certainly.
Some crazy stuff, but it's, to go through what I went through. But just to share it with my daughter, that's why I said, we got the things that her and I shared on that boat.
Yeah.
And those, just that whole day.
Yeah.
It's, I could share my story, but man, I'll tell you what, it's just, that's why I said, we got a lifetime of memories now.
Yeah.
I mean, forget about that money for that boat. That money's spent and gone, man. That trophy that she'll be able to look at when I'm dead and gone, she could pass it on to her family or friends. Like,
cool.
I fished with with your pop. That's who
Super cool.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's unbelievable. Dave and Bob, we were talking old times. We were talking the Federation back when the Federation was the Federation, right? I'm just going to tell it how it is. After the split up of FLW and Bass, it's never been exactly the same. Back then when we fished it, dude, it was strong. There were more members than ever.
It was a big deal.
It was a big, big, big deal.
And it was all boater on boater.
It was boater on boater.
Or a co-angler, didn't matter. Everybody fished together.
I mean, you had the best anglers in the country from every state all trying to headhunt you to make it, to make the classic. But, Bob, I'm going to start with you. Dude, you had tremendous success. You were one of the guys to beat. What did fishing the Federation back there? What did it mean? Because it was special. I know you know that. But what did it
Yeah,
mean
I mean,
to you?
it was totally special. It was, because you look at I look at the Federation back then and how strong you say it was. And any Federation tournament we went out on, we had 5 classic qualifiers, launching that day. And we drew 100 boats at every tournament, man. And the fields were strong. And one guy, Mark Schaefer and the Eddie Cowens and Snyderites and dudes, that I looked up to. And they were just, amazing fishermen. And I was like you, I wanted to be one of those guys, and, you had to put your nose down and fish really hard. And it was a totally different world back then to what it is now. And it's never been the same, like I said, once the Federation split up. But, Mark was there. And, one thing I love about Mark, I met him at a divisional in 1995. He comes rolling up playing Voodoo by Godsmack. And the dude's a power player. Come on. How could I not like this guy, man? So,
Hey, Bob, do you remember when the first time we actually really met up at Racetown?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
You were rooming with Mike Wallace.
Yeah.
And I walk up, I take my hat off. I have, kind of lacking in hair, right? I go walking up, and there's Bob and Mike Wallace. And he comes out, Bob comes out, he got a beer in his hand. He goes, dude, if I was to drape my balls over your head, you look like a hippie with earmuffs. First thing the man ever said to me. I started laughing. And he goes, dude, I'm only kidding, dude. I was pissed myself like, dude, it is okay. We've been buddies ever since. I said, I know I'd like this guy.
All right, Dave Mansu, are you surprised Bob said something like that?
Are you kidding?
Oh my God.
I think that's his greeting.
Yeah, the dick and ass fucking's pretty much how Bob's going to agree to, dude.
I'll tell you another funny story, man, is that I met Dave. I met Dave in the Federation, dude, by cutting him off at Havre de Grace. He still talks about it today, dude. I'm like, get over it, dude. It was like 25 years ago. I cut him off in a submarine or something, dude, and caught a 3-pounder. Then he's sending me love notes. He wants to fish tournaments with me, dude. What are you, complaining I cut you off, or you want to fish with me, man?
So the best thing that ever happened, Mike, is when I left, I said, you're going to miss me. F you, dude, I'm never going to miss you. He goes the whole ball sack thing. And I'm like, you're going to miss me. All right. The first tournament that I'm not there with him, he fishes with Junior. And the next thing you know, I get a picture of the back of Bob's head with a jerk bait with 3 hooks stuck in the back of his head. And I said,
what a disaster.
You missed me.
Oh man, that is unbelievable. That sounds like Junior.
Hey, Bob, was that the last time you fished with Junior?
Yeah, I fished with him that year, dude, but it was like a total train wreck. I was used to fishing with the cop, dude. Everything's done. The boat's immaculate, man. Everything's taken care of, man. I mean, me and Dave had some good tournament, finishes together. We had a couple good years there fishing, man. It was a lot of fun. And, but when he left, dude, this is how it ended. He talks me into coming over to help him move, Oh, yeah, it's going to be you and a bunch of guys. I show up. It's like me and one of his friends. It's 95 degrees out, dude. We got to move his entire house because he's hurt, dude. You know what I mean? We're sweating to death. The guy has no beer, no food, no nothing for us, man.
No hand trucks to move the heavy shit.
No, it's all manual. It's all manual labor.
Dude, I was like, man.
Well, there's that payback for cutting him off.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun tournaments out there.
Hey, Bob, that's an old cop trick. I used an old top rod meeting one time to move myself from my mom's house to my apartment in Camden, dude. I had like 30 years moving my shit, dude. It was like, we're at the meeting at my apartment, but we got to meet at my mom's first.
Wow.
Remember that, guys?
Wow, I do remember that. Tricky. You guys are tricky. What I want to say, though, is there were so many really talented anglers that fished that federation back then.
Amazing.
And it's not restricted to Jersey because I'm sure every state had it, but there was that circle of 10, 15 guys that all of them could have been fishing the top tour level events at the time.
Oh, absolutely.
The absolute best. We were talking about Eddie Cowan, off camera, and Eddie was doing stuff back then that nobody was doing. He was punching before punching was a thing.
Yep.
He was sight fishing before anybody knew what sight fishing was. So,
yeah.
it was an amazing time. You know, for me to be around you guys in that Federation time was an amazing time for me. You take that away personally from my career, you take those 4, 5, 6 years away, dude, I'm not here right now.
Yeah, I think the guys, the talent that we had back when Bob and his brother and Dave and you know, and then Petey started coming along. You always had Richie Schneiderite. There was, you know, and Hutchie, and there's always, you know, the new guys come on like, you know, Ike and you know, even myself come along. Guys are like, you know, and they tell you, you know, we just came out with open eyes and we're like, wow, look at the competition. You did your own thing. We all became successful, and best thing that came out of those years is the friendship that we have right now.
Yeah, I'd agree with
that. Right, Bobby?
I'd agree with
Dave,
that.
I mean, you know, Bob moved down. He's a South Jersey boy now. He lives in the hood. So we got to, you know, it's just, but, you know, from those days of meeting for the fishing, you form a bond with, you know, where we all bust balls.
Yeah.
We all like to have fun.
Yeah.
But when it comes to fishing, it's game on.
Yeah.
And they're all good sticks, and it pushed every one of us to be good. Dude, to make the New Jersey State team back in the day was one of the hardest things to do.
Super hard.
Jesus.
Difficult.
Like Bob said, there was 5 classic qualifiers out there. Like that's back then.
Unbelievable. And that's
Hey, think about this though, Mark. I mean, all of us that traveled together. All right, we came out of the Federation. I remember Mike and Pete talking me into fishing the invitationals, and I had made the state team 2 years in a row. And I had really just gotten into tournament fishing, and I knew that, man, I had a lot to learn. And thankfully, you know, guys like you and Bob taught me an awful lot, Eddie Cowan and everything. But just think about it. You, Mike, Bob, Ted, myself, Pete, we all qualified for the top 150, which was the elites of the day.
Yeah.
You know, out of the Federation.
Dude,
I mean, you talk about competition that's preparing you for that next level.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I mean, it doesn't get any better.
That's incredible, and I'm glad you brought that up because that was like the next thing, right? Like we all had success at the Federation, and we were fishing against guys that we thought were the best. You know, we thought they were the best in the world. And then when we decided to fish the invitationals, right, all together, this motley crew traveling around to new places, not Greenwood, Hapakong, Delaware River, Hudson River, right?
Curve Reservoir.
Not our normal stomping grounds, but all of a sudden we took the leap of faith to try this national circuit called the invitationals. And in the same year, all of us qualified for the tour. All guys from Jersey, all at one time qualified for the tour. Dude, that was saying something.
Yeah, that was my second year fishing the invitationals. My first year I fished them. I was surprised when I got done. I was like, because they took the top 25, you know, out of almost 400 fishermen.
Yeah.
And I remember I finished I finished 30th or 31st, and I'm like, wow, how in the hell is some dude from South Jersey?
Yeah.
I have no experience, you know, a reservoir. What the hell's a reservoir? Man, you learn, you're on the fly, learn. You go out to Lake St. Clair, you're like, holy shit, man, the bodies of water, the place we all went. And then that second year, here comes these guys and I'm like, cool. And we all got together. We all traveled together. We stayed in houses and bust balls, laughed, had great times. And, I wasn't there when Dave won his invitational, but I was there when you won. I was there when Pete won, and then we went to the 150s, and you smoked there. I'll never forget when you're up Champlain at the end of the tournament because they used to use nets. Mike's netting fish, and they're going through the net because he kept cutting the jerk bait out of the net to the point where at the last day he's netting fish. He's like, my net's no good. I fucking cut it open.
You said something I want people to listen to, like that are not from our part of the country. There's not a place in New Jersey where we can't see the shoreline where we're at.
No.
So when you go to a place like St. Clair or Erie and Okeechobee, when you just see sky, it was mind-blowing to us.
And cypress trees.
Yeah.
Wow, they're in the water?
Yeah, like what are these trees in the water for? Our trees are all on the shoreline,
there
dude.
are trees in the water.
In fact, I think our biggest body of water is probably Greenwood or Pakong, and you're not even probably 2,000 acres, maybe.
Well,
right?
back in the day, it was actually the Susquehanna.
Susquehanna's.
But the only place you fished was in the Haverty Creek Marine, or maybe the one over the Texaco dock or the Texaco over there in the Bohemia.
Yeah.
You know, there was really didn't fish big.
But
Right.
you could see the shoreline.
Yeah.
It's not like going across Erie or
Nah.
St. Clair when it's just dark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Our waves get to 10 feet.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
neat.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark, I got a question for you, man. You know, a lot of these guys that fish the flats today, they have no idea what it was like 25 or 30 years ago to fish that place.
No.
Man. None. I seen 12 pounds won a 2-day tournament there one time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
no grass in it, dude. It was like horrendous. And, you know, I know you've been fishing it for at least 30 years, man.
Yep.
Like, what have your experiences been over that time? Because I can tell you that the one tournament I remember the most when I knew things were different were we fished. It was a June tournament. And I came in, I had like 20 pounds, and I figured I won because the biggest bag I ever saw was 14 pounds, dude. And Swiss Stack brings in 22. You had like 19. Belushi had like 19. I'm like, dude, what's going on with this place all of a sudden? You know what I mean? And but you know, the fishing has changed so much down there. It's you know, for me, because like I've had time away from fishing there, and then you know I kind of got back, you know, just here and there dobbing in tournaments or whatever, and how much different it fishes now compared to it did, you know, 25 or 30 years ago.
Well, I think that's one thing we're very fortunate of to experience is how a body of water like the Upper Chesapeake, tidal, and it's something for the guys that, you know, I feel good about how you have to adjust. You know, back in the day, I remember, I forget what year it was. I think it might have been 89 because the regional I qualified through Operation Bass was on Kerr Reservoir. I wanted to go down and fish, and the flats, dude, it sucks. You know, if you catch a fish, you catch a limit, you're like, yeah, a limit. And I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But my club, you know, back in the day, we had club rules. You know, you had to fish. So I fished. So I got pissed. I went up in the sassafras and sat on one point all day and won the tournament with a whole 9 pounds.
Wow.
You know, but there was nothing else to fish because I was like, where are you going to go? The marinas are going to be full. I don't like fishing around crowds. I don't like that. So, and then, you know, as the place progressed, you know, sod banks, you know, little eelgrass patches started showing up. Eelgrass has been a big player for a lot of years, and it's still a player. You just got to know when and how to fish it. And, you know, wood was a big key for a lot of years. Basically all hard structure. Anything rock, wood was pretty much, or undercut banks.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
Then certain areas of the river started growing grass down south, and that became the better way to fish is further away from, you know, get down south, not north. And then I don't know exactly what year it was, but look at how all of a sudden that grass, that main flat, that milfoil.
And that milfoil came back.
Man, when that milfoil got in there, so you know, you always got to fish with an open mind. The flats is a perfect place if you're a power fisherman, and it's a good place for finesse fishing. But coming up through all those years of fishing it, you know, put a hydro spin in your hand, a jig. You know, we didn't have Senkos back in the day, so you know, it was a
Power worm.
Berkeley power worm.
Blue fleck.
Blue fleck. Yeah, they're still in the boat today.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Blue fleck power worm's
I
always
love
in the
it.
boat.
Still working. All right, I'm going to start with Dave. I'm going to go around the room here. Dave, give us one good story from something you remember. It could be funny, it could be feel good, it could be whatever, from when we all traveled together. I want to hear one good story from you, Dave. Then, Bob, I'm going to go to you next. Give me a good one from when we all traveled together.
Oh, man, there are so many. Oh my God, to pick one out is really difficult, but probably, you know, and I've told you this before. So Bob's brother Ted is a trained chef. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm a fairly good cook, and we all ate pretty good when we traveled together.
Oh God, yeah.
Would take it upon himself to go to Arby's and fill a cooler full of Arby's burgers and fries and whatnot. And despite having all this good food there, he'd come in at the end of the night and there he was just munching on these nasty ass week old fries and burgers and whatnot. And I just couldn't believe that you could have enough stamina to fish all day long with the way you ate. I mean, it just boggled my mind the way you ate back in the day. But man, there are so many great stories from back then. Elvis, remember Elvis?
Elvis. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Elvis show.
Yeah, Champlain. Yeah.
Delfonso.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Elvis.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh God. And then
Bob used to ride his ass, did he?
and every time,
But you guys called him Elvis? I never knew that.
Elvis. Yeah. Oh yeah. Elvis.
and of course, Soli, you fish with him, and every time your bait gets stuck, you'd say, "Hey, dude, I'm home." Dude, you ain't never been home. So, there's a lot of stories here that I just can't tell.
So many good ones. Bob, give us a good one from back in the day when we all traveled together like a motley crew.
Ah, dude, it was such a mess, man. I mean, the first time I remember staying with you, dude, like me, I had 2 rods. I didn't even own a spinning rod, dude, you know? And I come back and the room looked like Tackle Warehouse. Stuff's everywhere, man. You're tying your stuff up until midnight. I just tied my 2 rods up, a jig and a spinnerbait, and I was done, man. That was it. But, you know, Mark always brought John Erickson with him, who slept wherever, on the floor, on the couch, had his sleeping bag. But I don't know if you guys remember, you were there when Pete brought Ken McIntosh to stay back at the house. I think we were in Alabama. Dude, the guy comes in. Pete's like, oh, yeah, he's a real nice guy. He's going to stay here with us, man. So he goes to sleep. We're all in the room sleeping. There was like bunk beds in there. Dude, it was like 3 trains and a 747 just came right over the top of the place, man. This is how loud the guy snored, man. And we all came running out of the room with like pillows over our ears. And
Oh, my God.
totally
Ken
out of control,
McIntosh.
man.
Wow.
But, you know, some of the
Hey, Bob.
Were you there,
Pete,
Dave?
Hey, Bob, Pete has like a trend of bringing bad shit around people, dude.
Oh, yeah.
He's brought some bad stuff to Ike's house, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just remember, like, you know, it was always a lot of fun, and you know, we always had a lot of success, man. I mean, that one tournament, the last tournament, you know, I think it was the first year I fished the invitationals. You know, Pete won the tournament. I qualified for the classic. I think every one of us finished in the money. You know, it was just like, you know, we're from Jersey, dude. You know, nobody even heard of a guy from Jersey, man. You know, and Mike, you kind of put us on the map and stuff fishing wise, but you know, it was always just such a good time, a great group of guys, you know, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for Mark as a fisherman. And, you know, him winning yesterday, dude, it was like, you know, the best thing that could ever happen. You know, it was just like so exciting for me. Even my wife, you know, we were excited here because, you know, Mark won a tournament, you know, because we stayed close over all these years of fishing.
Yeah.
And getting together, and it still means a lot when one of us wins. You know, when Dave won his tournament, or Pete wins, or you win, it's exciting for me, man. You know, and it's been a big deal. You know, over the years, 20 years plus, whatever, we've been fishing together and been friends, and it's just a good deal. But back in the day, man, I can't even believe the way things ran. We were such a motley bunch, dude. You know, it was like it was like a joke almost, but we got the job done, and I think that's all that mattered, man.
Yeah. I still, it's funny you said something too, because I still remember being at some of those invitationals early on, and we were always like the outcast, just because when the sheet was printed out, you know, there'd be 400 names on that sheet. Well, there was only the 5, 6, 7 names from Jersey.
Yeah.
And like, they were, you know, once they saw that you're from Jersey, you're like, oh no, like dudes were like writing you off instantly, you know? They were like from the armpit of America. You know, everybody's like hoping they don't draw us because we're from the
I'll tell you a funny story. We were fishing the St. John's, and me and you were fishing up in the river, dude. I don't know if you remember this, man. And we came drifting by Jim Bitter, and you stopped like in front of him, and I got right behind him, and he started saying about Jersey guys, yada, yada, you know, because we had him sandwiched, and he couldn't even cast hardly, dude, you know?
We're from Jersey, and we know how to be an asshole.
Yeah, dude, it was fun.
His last name's Bitter, and he was a bitter dude. I can tell you that,
there ain't
man.
no doubt about
Many
that,
levels.
man.
Super
Hey.
bitter. Mark, you got any good ones? Give us a good story from back in the day. Anything you remember sticks out?
I remember. Well, we had like a lot of good times. Remember one time I took you guys when we went down to Kissimmee. Took you guys down to Overstreets.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Bob jumped out of the truck and said, "Dude, where the hell are we at?" We're like 5-6 miles. There's all those big Brahma bulls. It's like, where are we at? Dude, the ramp's right here down this road. Okay, we got back there. I remember that was a good time. But I remember, I think we're down in Georgia, and you, I think we had a flat tire. We had to fix something on your rig.
Yeah.
And you cut your hands, and it was like all greased up. And we had to get going, and it's like, dude, it was bad. And the only thing I could think of, I didn't do it on purpose, but I had that, the hand sanitizer. I said, well, Mike, that's got alcohol. Put that on there.
Oh, yeah.
Smoked them.
Dude,
Yeah.
that scream that came out of him.
I know, dude.
I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. It was just so
Yeah.
hilarious. It just sticks
That's
out.
Fucking
awesome.
sand crab sent him to the emergency room, and his wife had to drag him off the beach like he was in Iwo Jima.
Oh my God! No, the great thing about us traveling together though is there was this like a good bond of when somebody got in trouble or somebody got down.
Yeah.
There was always someone there to help you. Like Bob, I remember you had a boat go down up in the Great Lakes, up at Thousand Islands.
Thousand Islands.
Yeah, I remember like something would happen, and you always had a lifeline.
Yeah.
Which was nice
Because there was no cell phones. We had to travel in flocks.
you had to travel in flocks.
pretty much.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I sank my boat up there, man. It took 7 of us, remember, to get it on a trailer. It was like a miracle, dude, because it washed up on the shore by the only ramp within 100 miles. Dude.
Wow.
It was like insane, man. And it was laying on its side, man. All my tackle, my plastic boxes were like aquariums, dude. They're all full of water. And then the next day I had a fish too, man, So
Yeah.
we drug it up on the trailer. And you're right, man, because, it'd probably still be there if I was by myself, I'd just left it there, dude, But everybody was always there to help. You're right.
I wish that like the younger generation could experience fishing world the way we did,
Yeah.
so that they could appreciate an old Federation warrior like this
Yeah.
actually going out on one of the hardest bodies of water with those hammers that are out there,
Yeah.
and actually winning,
Yeah.
beating the Cowans, the Centaurs, the Rizzes of
Crazy.
the world,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and smashing them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of times young anglers look at the sport and they're very jaded because they think, they're going to get into it and then they're going to just get to that top level.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, it's easy. Driving $100,000 rig, staying at the best hotels, and they forget about all that grind that we did.
Oh,
All
sleeping
those years of staying in the rat hotels, the cabins that were. Dude, think about some of the cabins we stayed at. The dilapidated cabins, no air, all that grind. But here's the thing, you look at that and those guys are like, I don't want to do that. It's too much. Dude, they were some of the best moments of my life.
Yeah.
Dude, when you think about it, right?
Absolutely.
They weren't glorious, but think back to those moments. Weren't they the best? They were the best.
Without a doubt. You reminded me of a time I was traveling with Bob and Ted, and we stopped in Anderson, South Carolina, and we stopped in the wrong part of town. we should not have stopped there. And Teddy slept in a chair by the window all night long, looking out, watching our boats.
The Watchmen.
Yeah.
Something happened, But I mean, lots of those places that we stayed in, whether it was Champlain or whether it was down in Okeechobee, I mean, they weren't the best, but it was what we could afford, and we certainly made the best of it. You were saying something earlier about John Erickson, and I'll never forget him down in Okeechobee. Talking about stories. He one day when we were doing the invitationals, he got hooked up with a person who was going to go through a sex change operation, and happened to have very long hair, just like John. John had it down the middle of his back. And John came back. He was in a panic. The guy's a good fisherman here. You got a good draw. He goes, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to talk about all day? I said, well, you can start with hair care products.
Hey, Dave, remember that time when we were down at St. John's, man? I think we were down there and I got shot at going in at a gas station. Remember that
Yup.
time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Holy
The
shit.
guy behind the counter, man, he didn't even bat an eye. Like a bullet comes ripping through the door as I'm walking in the place. Manson's laying face down in the parking lot, and the guy's like, I said, dude, are you going to call the cops or anything? He's like, I think I had an argument with the guy over selling beer on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
They didn't call the cops or nothing,
Down,
man.
I had my off duty out behind the truck, for God's sake. But yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Jesus.
Dave, that was back before national carry, dude. Like that's back when we used to smuggle our guns just like any other bad guy, dude. There was no national carry back then.
Yeah, but we weren't fools, Dave.
I know that, dude. I remember like going down to Florida to see my mom. Coming back, when I would get halfway through the Delaware Memorial Bridge, it was like a sigh of relief because I knew I was street legal. You know what I mean, dude?
Yeah. Yeah, you just prayed if you ran into somebody that they understood.
At the bottom of the bridge on the Jersey side, and you smoked.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I remember Bob coming out. I'm like waiting for more shots to come, and I remember him coming out. And I'm like, dude, let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Some of the experiences from all those years is crazy, man.
You think back, and it's like you said, you had no internet. I don't even know how we found our places. We all found houses all over the place.
Yeah.
And like you said, everybody helped out cooking, and
Yeah.
I remember the one trip when we were all down Hartwell. I don't know if you remember that. It was all of our first time down there, Bob's and yours and Dave and Pete, and we all come in and went, dude, you're all fishing for second. All those cuts, all the main lake cuts were loaded with these slobs. We've seen them everywhere. So we're like all excited because like, dude, we're going to kick their asses. We all go back the next day. We all come in sulking, hanging our heads. Where'd they go?
Yeah.
We're like, they moved. Where the hell they moved? What? They moved?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Big wolf packs of them.
Yeah, and they moved way out to them damn, way out. I mean, you learned how to fish it since then, but I'll never forget. That's like, wow. That was pretty.
Because we have nothing like that up here where they move like that.
There were
There's
no
nothing
reservoirs.
Like that, dude.
There were no reservoirs like that.
Not of that size where they act like that.
We didn't have the blueback herring schools like they had. We, long points, spotted bass, shoal bass. What the hell were they?
Flooded timber?
Flooded timber? Yeah, it was all new.
Well, one of the
bass.
things that Mike brought up a good point is that guys today, the younger guys, they just want to get right into fishing opens or whatever the case may be. But none of us skipped any steps. We started at the club level, the federation, and then went to fishing invitationals and so forth, man. So it was like a progression. You know what I mean? Where guys today, and I think this the information that's on the internet, guys can get better faster, obviously, with the amount of information that's on the internet. But I think it's important to go through those grinding years of fishing in a federation or club tournaments, and then move up to regional tournaments and maybe like the opens or whatever, because a lot of guys, they just get in there, but they're not really competing, in my opinion. But back then we kind of went through the steps, this part of the process.
Oh, the hard way. You had to know how to triangulate.
Yeah. No GPS.
Dropping buoys, man.
Marker buoys. Dropping bombs.
Then they got to the point where, you paint them black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nobody knew you were fishing a buoy, or take a bottle, put a clear bottle out there that's floating on the water so nobody know what you're actually fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob, John McGraw and I were talking the other day about you, and we were saying that, is it true, like, in your opinion, that the BFL All-American, back when you made it all those times, was better than any event you had ever been in?
Yeah, and the other reason why I say that, I fished a couple classics in the All-American, and bass, when you fish a bass event, man, there's a lot of egos there, man, and and bass has, some guys they're focused on, and when you fish the All-American, and everybody's at the same level, there's no egos there, and it's still a big event, but in the All-American, they're focused more on all the anglers, man. Nobody's getting any extra press, man, because everybody's the same. Everybody made it out of 50,000 guys to fish the All-American, and I enjoyed that, because I'm not, you guys who know me, I'm loud and obnoxious, but that's not how I am usually around people. I'm quiet. I'm like Mark. I just do my thing fishing, and I don't want to, I'm not looking for the attention of it. I just love to fish and fish tournaments, but I thought the All-American was just a better event. That's just my opinion. A lot of people got in an uproar over it, but that's just, like I said, it's my opinion.
Yeah,
so.
That's the one regret of my career is that I never made an All-American. I really, really tried hard over the years. I've made a lot of the what is it, the divisional or regional?
Yeah.
Regional,
yeah.
I guess it was. I made a lot of regionals.
Yeah.
But then I can never get past
Yeah.
it.
I was fortunate in that 1 year to make it.
Yeah.
That make the All-American, and I wish they would have changed the dead fish penalty size back then.
What year was that, dude?
2004.
I thought it was. Yeah,
3 or 4. I made the All-American and National Championship the same year.
I remember seeing your name just because it was the only New Jersey name on there, dude.
Yeah, I lost that damn tournament because of a dead fish penalty.
Wow.
Day one.
Wow.
Where was that tournament at, Mark? Where was it at?
Hamilton, Lake Hamilton in Arkansas, right near what's that?
Ouachita.
Yeah, Ouachita.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I fished the Connecticut River, and it's kind of funny because, people were saying because I'm from the Northeast, I never fished a place in my life, dude. You know what I mean? I just went out there, and I had a good tournament. I think I finished 5th or something overall, but I never saw the place. But it was a really good event, man. I liked it.
Oh, I thought the All-American. That's why I don't know why that like the whole TV, all that split. Where everybody's got their opinions, but I thought the All-American. It was a treat. They make you feel like you're, like you said, you had to earn it. You got to come through, fish a lot of events.
Yeah.
It's real hard to get to. I went fortunate. I fished a lake I never fished for to get there, Lake Chautauqua.
Yeah.
I never, luckily we all do our due diligence and reach out to guys you might know, and you guys all know Marcel Venstra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's
Cantaloupe.
my
Marcel.
Marcel.
Sweet
Marcel.
Dude,
Man.
What a great dude. And Marcel clued me in on a little stretch. He goes, I don't know. He says, it's just one spot that, it's not near the community holes. You might want to try it. And he said, you might see somebody else there. He says, because I shared it with somebody else. And I said, well, I appreciate the start. And I got the start. And next thing you know, dude, I'm catching 20-pound bags of smallmouth going,
oh my God.
Wow. It's like, I made it? It's like, yeah. And got to that All-American. And it was, like Bob said, everybody gets treated the same.
Yeah.
It was a good event. It was the people watching, the young kids, you don't know, but remember the wide world of sports, right? Kirk Gallady, the agony defeat and the throw of victory. Well, I got to experience it firsthand, and I was like,
man.
it was, and of course, then when I went on to the national championship right after, because they were back to back, I went from Arkansas right to Oklahoma, and I went from gin clear fishing trick worms around docks, wacky rig, to water you couldn't see your fingernails when you stuck it in the water. It was so muddy, and I was my head wasn't into that because I was, pouting, but that experience is something that of a lifetime that helps you. Like I said, you just, and like it makes, to this day, yesterday's win with my daughter was very, very special, but also the fact just to win again, it's
hard to win.
It's hard to win. And
hard to win.
And it'll never get old.
Yeah.
Now I just want to win again. So now I'm like,
yeah.
I'm, like, I hope I can go up Erie and do well.
I like what you said about her having the trophy when you're long and gone.
Yeah.
That's forever, dude.
That's forever.
That's rad.
I mean, you guys all know if you have family, houses, or anything like that, dude, money is just,
that goes away, but that trophy's there forever.
Forever.
That's fucking rad.
Yeah.
I love that, man.
That's the most. Michelle will tell you. I mean, I'm blessed when people come to my garage. I mean, I got my share, and it's hard work. A lot of first losers. I critique my win yesterday.
Yeah.
I was out in the garage this morning critiquing what I did. I was like, I should have done this. Right?
Yeah.
It's like,
you do that, and it's funny because it doesn't matter. You won, but
I should have done this.
Yeah.
I could have been. I shouldn't have missed those 3.
Yeah.
I should have.
Hey, let's digress for a moment here. All right, let's talk about proud moments amongst all of us. All right, how many people, Mark, have made the All-American and the National? When you think about it, all the people that have fished throughout the years.
Yeah.
Not very many.
No.
Right?
No.
So I made it. I made the national
Bob's made the national. He's made the classic twice. He's made the All-American. All right. His brother made the classic. Right. Mike, Angler of the Year, BASS, the classic. Right. And I was fortunate enough to win an Open.
Yep.
Just think what we've as a group, what we've accomplished, and what we have to be proud of.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's
Very cool.
And that's why I think, I feel, honored to be here tonight and to be able to talk to you guys, because everybody, when one of us win, you're really happy. Honestly, of course we all want to win.
Yeah.
But when one of your buddies win, it's like, dude, because the effort that it takes and that you put in to get there.
Yeah.
So for the younger people watching, I'm going to ask a question to the room, and that includes our guests. I saw a meme, and it was about an old special operator, and it said, "Fear the old man that does a job where young men die," right? And in this room, we have a ton of dudes that at elder ages are successful. I'm going to start with you, Mansu, first. The younger generation, the way they're coming up now with the way things are sculpted, way different than when we came up. What would be your best piece of advice for young anglers watching right now to get wise to the game?
It's a good question.
Oh man, that's
Dave, you win a prize tonight.
Dave, send in your info.
That's a
Can
good question.
I have that frog up there with the hook sticking
Yeah,
straight
you
out? They'll catch every blade of grass.
You can have that frog. That's your prize tonight.
And unfortunately, the whole game has changed. Now, are we talking about fishing? Or are we talking about, the whole
competitive angling, Dave? Mike gets swarmed, and I watched it myself, and I'm on the IM board. Gets swarmed with young, aspiring anglers. What would be your advice to them to gain the knowledge, to gain the street knowledge, the secret police shit to move forward?
Well, first off, you have to be successful in the water. There's no doubt about it. And there's no substitute for time on the water. I don't care what you want to look at, learn. Obviously there's a million, there's Bass University things that are going to shorten your learning curve and whatnot. But until you apply those things and actually experience them, you're missing out.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
You just can't be done on the computer. And then on the other end of it, unfortunately, the whole social media thing has changed. The corporations and whatnot. You're hurting yourself by putting those free stickers on everything. And young kids don't understand that. You gotta, to make a living out of this thing now is become actually more difficult now than ever before, because there are so many people trying to do it.
Yeah.
So, it's easy to cut the nose off despite the face here by thinking that you're going to get ahead by doing things for free. And there's always somebody in line that wants to do the same thing, is willing to do the same thing. But as far as the fishing goes, dude, right now I'm in Del Rio, Texas at Kurt Dove's Pro Bass Camp. And, we've got 34 kids here right now that just soak up everything that we can possibly give them while they're out on the water.
That's awesome.
You're out 8 hours and, you're teaching them from soup to nuts, trying to teach them from soup to nuts. And a lot of them think they know something, but then when they see it applied, it's like you see the light bulb,
So,
And
Dave, it's just like any other sport or any other craft, training, right? Get yourself immersed.
Listen, you're not going to be successful unless you work at it. I don't care what you have to work at it, whether it's a sport, whether it's, books, education, whatever. You just can't sit by and do nothing. You've got to work at it. It's practice. You think Tom Brady won 7 Super Bowls by just sitting there looking at a computer? No, he's out on the field doing the work. You've got to do the work. Mike's a classic example. Mark, who spent more time on the water amongst all of us?
Mike was dark to dark.
Beyond.
Yep.
There were nights where we didn't think he was ever going to come back.
Yeah. I used to call him the pizza eater because he used to have that little freezer full of Tombstone pizzas.
That's right, Pizza Eater. I was proud of that nickname.
Yeah, you were.
I love that nickname.
I remember first time we stayed in a room together, you got all his shit out, right? Retied every single lure on every single rod. And I'm just watching him. I already ate. I'm sitting there. And then he gets his maps out. And I'll never forget this. Talk about the funny stories. He goes to the freezer. He puts his mac and cheese in, turns around, boom, right on the floor. Gets his pizza, got his pizza. You're pissed that you lost your mac and cheese. So you just ate a pizza. He sat on the bed. I kind of looked over at him. Next thing you know, he's out. Dude, he's sleeping. He's dead cold. Next time when he woke up, because I woke up because he got up. It was probably 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. You got up, got your shower, got all your shit out. You went. I'm like, it's still dark out. I'm like, you go get him, brother. You go get him. And we're all like that, right? It's like, damn, gotta hand it to you. I mean, like Dave was just saying, the effort and the time you have to, everybody picks their routine. But one thing that I would add to like these young guys getting into the sport and, Bass University, obviously one of the greatest tools out there. But how I learned how to become successful in the sport was an individual told me one time, to be successful in a business, you want to look at who are the people that are already successful in that business.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the sticks back in the day. You guys remember Tom LaVictory Sr.?
Oh, yeah.
We all know Eddie Cowan. Those two guys there, it's like you got to every tournament, you were sick and tired of hearing them win.
Yeah.
But you know what they were really good at? Flipping.
Yeah.
They always had them big sticks. Flipping stick. I started fishing with spinning rods. I own 2 now. But I started out, I didn't know nothing really about that technique. I knew how to throw a jig.
Yeah.
I didn't know that technique. So what I figured for me to be successful in this sport, to compete against those types of guys, I need to learn how to flip.
Right.
So you find out. But unfortunately, if someone tried to pattern himself after someone like yourself, you're very versatile. You're good at a lot of things, but that's what guys got to look at. Who do you want? What do you want to? Who do you want to? You got to pick a model.
Yeah.
A business model, I guess you would call
Yeah.
it, to follow.
Yeah.
To become successful. So you could start with Bass U. You could sign up for these tournaments. Go as co-anglers.
Yeah.
That's a good way to learn. That's what I did.
I agree with the co-angler.
And you're going to learn 2 things as a co-angler. You're going to either learn one, what to do, and you're going to learn a lot of things not to do.
Yeah.
Because you draw guys that. My biggest thing that I always see you guys do, they run up on the spot and they sit down on top of it, and they, literally blow it out. Now, on some lakes and some certain situations, they say, oh, it's a good thing you stirred the fish up.
Yeah.
But when I was fishing as a co-angler, I ain't never seen anybody catch a fish, and I started questioning my partners, like, do you ever catch a fish when you do this?
Yeah.
And they just like, well, yeah, sometimes. I'm like, okay, sometimes. Well, that. So.
Yeah.
But what you said is very important for you young guys watching in terms of being a co-angler. Lower your expectations about going out and winning.
Yep.
But accept what not to do. That is so crucial because you will find yourself in those what not to do situations more so than you'll ever find yourself in the fish are just flying into the boat. Mm-hmm. And you will recognize them by living through them versus doing it on the front of the boat at a higher cost.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the biggest key. One of the best co-anglers around that I knew that I learned a lot from was a guy I hooked you up with, Mitch Pearson.
Mitch was awesome. Hell yeah.
Yep.
And a stick. Like,
yes. Yeah.
Could catch them.
Yep. And
Catch them.
And Mary told me a story one time. He went on 1,000 islands as a co-angler. Gets strong with a guy. Guy runs out between the 2 islands, Wolf Island and that other little island, Grenadier, I think it is.
Yeah.
And he goes, we pull up to the spot. The guy pulls out one rod, and he's got a 10-inch Berkeley Power Worm on. He goes, I knew right then and there, this ain't going to work. And I just never forget that because I'm like, well, did he catch any? He went, no. He goes, but I learned one thing. That's what I'm sorry about learning. Don't use a 10-inch Berkeley Power Worm in jig clear water when you're fishing for smallmouth. I mean, it might work. But that's, getting back to, for the young guys that want to get in the sport. Anybody wants to get in the sport. Look for who's the most successful.
Yeah.
What is their strengths? Or what did they win a tournament on?
Yeah.
Because, sometimes you'll win on a chatterbait, you'll win on a finesse worm, spinner. There's a lot of different things everybody wins on. So that's what, I would suggest to anybody. If you see like a Mike Iconelli that's successful or these new guys coming up, what are they doing?
Right.
Seems like drop shot and a lot of finesse is coming back into play.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we first came into the game, I got in the game like Lake Apac on Greenwood.
Slider head.
Well, all those guys up
Power
north,
worm. 4-inch.
yeah, everybody was finesse fishing.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, well, why can't I throw a big spinnerbait or why
Yeah.
can't you throw a jig? And well, that did work.
Yeah.
But the finessing was the deal back then, and that then you go through the trend, and it seems like now everything, maybe it's the bodies of water,
Yeah.
for the big smallmouth
Yeah.
everybody's chasing that like we're talking earlier, like 4-pound test. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping like Erie, I hope they're not that finicky because, dude, I'm old school. I start with, I'm not going, well, let me try 8 pounds, 7, 6, 4, 5. Hell with that. If they ain't eating what I'm throwing, I'm going to try.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm stuck in that line problem right now, and I'm trying to get out of it. But hey, Bob, I want to ask you, and I know you're going to be a lot more coarse and a lot less finesse than these guys are. But if you had a son that just all of a sudden wanted to get into this, now for those of you listening, younger guys, the way Bob made the Classic was under the hardest circumstances that existed.
Yeah.
There's nothing in place right now that's harder than the way Bob made, correct me if I'm wrong, Bob, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made it once through the Pro Division and then once through the Federation. And actually, Mike did the same thing because, and this is I wanted to ask Mike, I know he felt like crap after this, but Mike had a chance to qualify. It was the most amazing thing that probably feat that I've seen anybody do was that he got disqualified from a tournament by Jim Bitter, right? And an invitational, and they took you out of the Classic contention.
Yeah.
And then you turned right around and won a national championship to make it, dude. I mean, you went from like the lowest low to the highest high, dude, like overnight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
And
you
then
know,
got a podcast and talk shit on Jim Bitter
Right.
for the next 20 years.
All these years later.
What's up, Jim?
Hey, you heard me say it comes full circle. It all came full circle
What's
tonight.
up, Jim?
In your
In your face, Jim Bitter.
You should have held on to that fish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
don't bounce fish off your dashboard. Dude.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when you pay attention.
Should have held on to that fish.
You never measure a fish on top of the gunnel.
Yeah,
stupid.
Yeah.
On the floor.
Let me measure this fish under the
Never.
boat. How will this work out?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Well, that's what it is. He probably had the scale on the side. Yeah.
John McGraw
Yeah.
never even measures the fish at all. He just puts it in the live well.
just assumes that his dumb partner don't read
Yeah.
shit. Fucking knows.
Try to weigh in a 10-incher on the flats. Who cares?
It looked 15.
It looked 15, 10, 15.
No, it looked
doesn't
12.
matter.
I was like, John, where's your scales? He gets 12. And we threw it in. Bob, go ahead, Bob. For the younger guys watching, Mike has a ton of young guys that want to hear from a wizard like yourself. Go ahead.
You know, I just think like you guys are right. There's no substitute for time on the water. And when we were fishing coming up, it was even more important because we didn't have the internet or anything like that. The only way you learned a place was by going out there and fishing all the time. But, I work on my, like instincts fishing, like, coming up from the Federation level. I used to keep a log of the weather before I went fishing, during the time I went fishing, after the time I went fishing, all the time. Just because I think there's more to fishing than just what you're casting or where you're throwing it. There's going to be decisions you're going to have to make during the tournament days, or where you're going to start, or when you get into multi-day tournaments, where you're going to go the second day or the third day, or when you're going to leave your fish. There's so many decisions you have to work on. And, for young guys, they got to spend time on the water and, maybe with, anglers that are seasoned already or better than them. And, just remember that, one day they're going to be in charge of making their own decisions out there on the water, and being able to sense the fish is like super important, man. I mean, everybody talks about what you throw or where you throw it, but, you have to spend time on the water constantly just to get a sense of what the fish are doing, and go to different places. Don't go to the same pond all the time. Go to a tidal river one day, go to a natural lake one time, go to a place you can deep crank or flip jigs or whatever the case may be to expand your game so you get a good knowledge, different watercolors. Here in the Northeast, we don't really get, a chance to expand, dirty water or, places like that. There are a few, but, like I said, there's more to it than just going out there and, what you're throwing or what kind of baits. And you got to work on, that mental part of the game and just get a sense to what the fish are doing during that, during the tournament or going into the next day. And I'll tell you, man, I've been successful probably, maybe 50% of my tournament days are fishing places I've never even practiced on. Just
Bob, in terms of your weather, when you used to document your weather and record your weather, how did you get as deep as like barometric pressure and stuff like that, or what?
I never
what
got
did you
into the
document?
barometric. Yeah, I never got into the barometric pressure, but I got, was it a front, high pressure, what kind of day was it, weather, temperature, the whole 9 yards. And I'll tell you, man, you can get a great sense of what the fish are doing just by the water temperature, man, or the fronts, especially like in the spring, the fall, certain places you go to. I mean, the summertime is the summertime. The fish really are going to be doing what they're doing, but the spring and the fall are super important, man, when that water temperature changes. And I'll give you an example. Like I know when I go to Kerr to fish, back in the day, I used to throw top water there. I knew it was good until the water got like to 70 degrees. After that, it was, the fish move into the creeks and, it's a different kind of game. But, just the little details. And a lot of times guys overlook that, but that puts you ahead of everybody, in my opinion. Guys are caught up on the exact baits they're throwing. But on any tournament day, fish are getting caught on 50, 100 different baits. It's not that important. It's, a lot of times what wins tournaments, and Mike knows this more than anybody, man. You got to be, man, you're going to make some tough decisions, and Mark knows this, Dave knows this. Those decisions make you or break you during the tournaments, man. And you got to keep repetitively doing it until it comes natural and you get a better idea of what you need to do during a tournament to be successful. And it doesn't always work out. Tournament fishing is one of the roughest things you'll ever do,
Yeah.
And don't let the bad days, like Mark won, a perfect example. Mark won yesterday. He's at the highest high. Me and Brian went out there and it's had the worst day of our lives yesterday. Don't let that bother you, man.
Just another day to me, Bob.
Yeah, you just go out and, so what? You had a bad day. It's just how
I'm
it is.
used to it, dude.
Bob,
The disappointment is kind of, I was just so used to it.
Yeah.
Bob, I have another question for you, and we've talked about this on past Ike Lives when you were on here. And for those that have never seen those, new viewers to the show, you're an avid hunter. You're a successful avid hunter for deer. How would you equate your pattern movement in terms of the weather? Could you equate like your deer patterns as well as the bass patterns? Is that something you could articulate?
Yeah, it's definitely, for me, obviously deer hunting, weather has a lot to do with deer movement, just like the bass. It's pretty much the same exact thing, but deer do certain things, bass have the spawn, deer have the rut, and there's certain times of the year that they're moving. And I tell all the guys out there hunting, man, the best time, everybody wants to hunt during the rut, but the best time to hunt is actually, for me, the last week of October. But the weather patterns and deer hunting, man, I mean, you could definitely, the better days are when it's colder, high pressure. Deer tend to move earlier, move more, and it's kind of the opposite with bass fishing. Bass, they don't want cold fronts moving in and stuff like that. They want stable conditions, man. But there's, whitetails are very cover oriented, so are bass. There's a lot of things that you could put together with doing both. And the other thing, about deer hunting that's so important is it puts you outdoors. You're in the woods, you're looking at, nature, and you can kind of get a sense of what's going on. And the same things happen with fishing. You could look at certain things and, you pull into a pocket and see a bunch of birds diving down. It catches your attention, or whatever the case may be. But, it's all about, getting out in nature and seeing what's going on. And you could definitely learn something deer hunting. And Mark's a deer hunter too. And so is Mr. Mansu there. But, it's a good thing to get you tuned into. It's a different kind of creature, but it's all the same to me.
Yeah. I tell you this, I like to put Bob on the spot here, and I want to hear from Mark and Dave about this. Bob is one of the best natural fishermen I've ever seen. And I've been around them all, man. I've never seen anyone that has better natural instincts than Bob. It's amazing. And dude, he could have a brown paper bag full of lures, 2 rods, and you listen to the fish better than anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Why is that? Dave, Officer Mansu, why is Bob so good at listening to the fish?
Because he's probably got the same size brain as one.
He desires him sexually. That's what I was thinking.
Wow. Sex with bass. Yeah.
But the reality of it is, you're exactly right. I can't tell you how many times we would be practicing for a tournament, and we would have a great practice. Okay, put the boat in the water, tournament day. We're about ready to take off, and he'd look at me and go, "Dude, we're scrapping everything." And I'd say, "What?" And to me, nothing had changed. The environment was exactly the same. All right. But Bob would recognize one minor change that I did not.
Yeah.
And that it ain't going to work today. We're doing something else.
Yeah.
And off we'd go. And we'd be successful. You know, the guy just friggin' amazed me at how he could read that environment and know that there was the slightest of changes. And you only get that by spending time on the water and starting the outdoors, you know?
Yeah.
But over time, I mean, you recognize that, hey, you know what it's like. You know, you got a bright sunny day, and then all of a sudden here come the clouds. You know, what do? You know, you got a little bit of wind. You make a change. The environment, we work in a fluid environment, and you have to be fluid with it.
Yeah.
You know, in my opinion, there's nobody better at it than Sully.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen it. Mark, I know you've seen it, him at work. It's just amazing.
Well, I think it's we're talking about a little about it's Bob's attitude.
Yeah.
You know, his attitude towards it's like he knows what he knows, and he trusts his instincts.
Yeah.
And you know, we all got this little voice in our head. It's part of your instincts, and sometimes you know, Bob doesn't second guess himself. It's like, dude, it ain't working. Why you doing it?
Yeah.
You know, he's not insane. That's insanity, right? Keep doing it. Like, I'm going to make them eat them. They're going to eat it.
Yeah.
You know, like throwing a chatterbait for 6 hours and you ain't got a bite.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna, right?
Yeah, guilty.
I know they're going to bite it. I'm going to win if they bite. But,
Guilty yesterday.
but I got news for you. That's what I've taught myself the past couple of years, because down on the flats, the power fishermen dominated down there, but then all of a sudden they get real, you know, finicky and stuff. And, you know, I think it was the first BFL this year that I fished. Dude, they bite the chatterbait.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. Well, at the end of the tournament, I would say, well, they bite the chatterbait, but they didn't bite it today.
Yeah.
And I talked to Keith Cowan. Keith said the same thing. Dude, I did the same thing. I'm like, hey, you only need 5 bites.
Yeah.
A guy like Bob, he'd be like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Give it 20 minutes. It ain't working. Do something else. And I believe it's all in the positive attitude.
Yeah.
In other words, there's a lot of people, you could talk them out of stuff.
Yeah.
You're not talking solely out of stuff.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know,
Not a chance.
Call it bullhead. It's not being bullheaded. It's just having, you know, experience on the water. I mean, I feel I'm a lot like him in that way. You know, when I make, you know, I make up my mind. That's it.
Trust in the voice.
I
trust in your instincts.
Trust it.
Yep.
How many times you fishing and all of a sudden, you know, maybe you're catching them, let's say on a Cinco, and you know you got your spinnerbait, all your stuff on there, and you just kind of, you know what? Well, that looks like I should throw a spinnerbait.
Yeah.
You just put it down, you pick it up, make the kid whack. You're like, and then you put it down and you pick up what you were doing. I've had many parts like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I said, well, that fish, that was a spinnerbait fish.
Yeah.
You're not going to keep throwing it? No, dude, they don't want the spinnerbait. That fish did. I don't know why. It's just, but you have the bright ideas, and you know, I guess it's from coming a young kid. I told my mom and dad, told me, boy, you got a lot of bright ideas, don't you, boy? I was like, yeah, I got a lot of bright ideas. And you learn to follow them and trust them.
Trust your instinct.
Trust them. And that's, I believe, that's all goes back into that mental game.
Right.
You know, just because you see a Mike Iaconelli over there maybe you're throwing a chatterbait. Well, Bob sees you doing it, and he ain't catching one, and he's not going to throw because you are.
Right.
He's going to throw exactly what he believes he's going to throw. And I would do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good one.
One of the things that's important, and I know Mike is really good at doing this. When you go into a tournament day, especially, you know, a lot of guys are so locked into what they did in practice, what they threw in practice. And so the best, you know, thing to do is, you know, when you start fishing, whatever you're fishing, say you're fishing docks or points or whatever it is, to go through a progression of lures, because maybe the mood of the fish have changed. Maybe you caught them on a spinnerbait during practice. So a lot of guys will go fish that point with a spinnerbait, you know, during the tournament, they don't get bit on it. And then some other guy will say, well, you know, dude, I was dragging a jig on the same point and I weighed 25 pounds.
Yep.
So like, guys are so caught up in doing exactly what they did in practice that they don't go through any kind of progression during a tournament.
Yeah.
Great point,
I
Bob.
think, a lot of guys, they just kind of, and that you could easily get caught up in that even during a tournament day, right? In the morning, you caught them on a spinner bait, throwing it all day, and you don't get a bite after, 15, 20 minutes, the bell should go off saying something's wrong or something changed, and, what else should I be throwing, or maybe the fish moved or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Mike, do you remember a few years back on Rayburn? Bob just made a great point, and it's not just the progression could also be when you're catching fish. But a few years ago, we were fishing on Rayburn, and I was flipping a 1/2 ounce baby D-bomb into bushes, and we were catching 2.5 to 3 pounders.
Yeah.
And you asked me, have you gone to a 3/4? And we were only flipping in 2 to 2.5 feet of water.
Yeah.
And I said, no, hadn't thought about it. I mean, we're only into 2.5 feet of water.
Yeah.
And you put that 3/4, and that size went from 2.5 to 3.5 and 4.
Yeah.
So those progressions and making those changes, even when you're catching fish, can make them as well.
Yeah.
And that's something you only learn when you're on the water.
Yeah, it's hard because you never want to be satisfied. Even when you're catching them, you want to. Is there something that can catch them a little better?
Yeah.
Is it just a little bigger, a little smaller, heavier weight, lighter weight? You're always. The minute you get satisfied as an angler, you're screwed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can never, ever be satisfied.
No, I know I'm never.
Yeah.
Even when, like I said, I was critiquing my performance this
Isn't
morning.
that awesome?
Yeah. I'm like, this. Yeah. It's a good critique.
Well,
That's so awesome, man.
here's something I won't critique. I won't critique the fact that I got to grow up and come up fishing with some of the best guys in the state of New Jersey. It was unbelievable back then. It's unbelievable now. This does feel like it's come full circle. What an awesome night for me to sit here with Dave and Bob and Mark, with Brian the Carpenter and Dave Brodzik, who I've fished with since I was 10, 11 fucking years old.
Nice.
What an unbelievable night this has been for me. Man,
I appreciate being invited.
I'm so proud to know all you guys. I can tell you I'm the fisherman I am today because of everybody in this room. All of you. Dave Brodzik, Brian the Carpenter included. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. It's awesome. It's awesome.
I think we all are.
What's that saying? It takes a village to raise an idiot?
Yeah.
Isn't that how it goes?
Takes a
Dave?
village to raise an idiot. That's right.
Something like that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's been a great experience throughout our entire careers together. And, the one thing that we continue to do is number one, be friends, and number two, keep rooting for each other. And that's pretty awesome after 30 years.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Dave and Bob, I appreciate you guys coming on, and I know it made this show special.
It did.
I know Mark appreciated it too. So I thank you guys for coming on.
That was fun,
awesome.
man.
That was super fun. Great stories. And if you guys want macaroni and cheese and Elio's pizza, come to the house.
All right.
How about Arby's?
And Arby's, yes.
Oh yeah, Andy Mansu on the message board said, "Oh fuck, I forget what she said."
She said she wants me to come back to the Mansu house.
No, Bob was a great furniture mover.
Yeah, that was terrific, man.
All right, guys. Good night. Thanks for coming
All
on.
right, take care, man. Thanks.
See you,
See ya.
fellas.
Later, guys.
Later, Bob. Later, Dave.
Dude, that was awesome. Wasn't that awesome?
That was
Yeah,
awesome,
it was.
bro.
Oh, that was so awesome.
Yeah, it brought back some good memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, they was. Yeah.
Good sticks, too.
I wonder how much of the younger, like when we were coming up, I wonder how much of the younger generation appreciates like a Bob Soley.
Yeah.
Do they even know of his accolades and how hard it was to get to that?
I know.
I would say for those of you watching that want to be what Mike is, you need to learn that. You need to understand that. I think that's a huge component to understand how hard it was to get to where those guys got to.
Yeah. you gotta be willing to put the work in. You
Yeah.
know, and I think if
Time,
anybody that's successful, you know, you have to put the work in. But the great thing is, if you're passionate about fishing, you know, like we talked about, like, dude, I think about it every day. Like, there's not a day that goes past that I don't think about it. I jumped out in the kayak today for I only had a little 30-minute window. Went out. I just love to do it. You know what I mean? So when you can combine those two, you know, if you have that passion, then that works a lot easier.
Yeah,
you know?
the passion, the desire. It's like, you know, you just set goals for yourself in life, you know, and don't let anybody tell you, you know, you can't.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes a lot of times, a lot of people. I mean, you had, you know, a nice backing behind you. You know, a family is. You need certain people behind you. When you have those, you know, because it's a lot of effort. And when we all started out, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
No, I was one of them. I was like, "What you get your degree in, dude? Like, what are you doing? You need to go exercise that degree."
Yeah, and he did.
No, but I mean, like, not fishing, bro. You need to be doing something else. I was one of them ones like, dude, what are you crazy?
Yeah, but it's but it was all worth it. I mean, it's there's struggles. It is what it is. But you just got to have that desire, the passion, and be prepared to not catch them.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Roller coaster.
Because something happened. That's all. It's just it'll all work out if you have the faith and just keep moving forward.
That's right. Did I mention this? I think Becky mentioned it, Brian.
Yes.
We are the only live podcast.
Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I got a lot of good comments about Becky's reads.
Becky's reads were great.
They were fantastic.
It was way better than something you would have played, so
yeah.
it was good.
She did a great job.
She did a great job. This is the only live podcast that does a mystery tackle box unboxing, and we're going to do it right now. Mark, this is how this works. Yes.
Good. No, good.
Okay. All right. This is my favorite part, is the noise of breaking the seal. You ready? Love that part. Mark, here's the rule. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to let you start. You're the guest. I'm going to have you pick out one bait in here. You pick anything out that catches your fancy. Pass it to me. I'll pass it to Dave. We'll pass it to Brian. And then we're going to have you analyze that lure. That's it, okay?
Okay.
So you get to pick one thing out, anything you want in there, just something that catches your eye, something that maybe you'd want to try, or something that you hadn't thought about that catches your eye, and we'll discuss what lures are in here. Definitely, we're doing a pro box tonight, Bri.
Yes.
Instead of we've been doing the elite boxes, the green box, the last few shows. Tonight we're mixing it up. We're going back to a pro box, which I still love. Still love the pro box.
He bid on something.
Okay, we got one thing there. I'm going here, Dave.
That's
there
the
you
first
go.
thing you grabbed, dude.
I know. I looked at it, and I instantly kind of liked it. And then, Dave, when you're done, we'll pass it to Brian.
I got mine.
Okay, Dave's got his. We'll go to Brian the Carpenter.
Hey, let me see what else is in there before I give it to Brian.
Oh, so
I'm happy.
Make sure you get. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with what I got.
All right, Mark, what do you got? Let's.
You know what I got, dude? Took your life.
Oh, look at that. All right, what do you
I
got?
Your life with this, bro.
The Live Magic shad, Lake Fork minnow.
Okay, Lake Fork Magic Shed. That's a good one.
It looks like a good one. Looked like it'd be a great chatterbait trailer.
Chatterbait trailer.
Swimbait trailer.
Yeah.
And maybe just a little old Texas rig.
Yep, I like the color too.
I like the
little
color.
bait fish looking color, green and
Yeah,
and
it's
white.
got the white belly. It's got the
hooks.
watermelon back, black flake, little red flake.
There you go.
Absolutely.
All right.
I wouldn't be afraid to throw it down on the flats, that's for sure.
Definitely on the back.
I didn't even look at the back. Like I said, just Texas rig.
Texas
I
rig.
think that's how it would
Maybe weightless. Maybe on the back with chatterbait.
Yeah.
I like it. I've got something here. I honestly have never seen this bait before in my life at all, and I like it because it's like a combo of two things. This is a Rip Snorter by Chase Baits. It's a soft minnow bait, Texas rigged, with a little blade at the bottom. A little
bass.
Yeah, like a little fish head spin. So it's a combination of a swim bait and a fish head spin together. I like it because it has a hook that's weedless. I can see throwing this thing around cover when they're dialed into a bait fish shape. Look at that little thing.
Absolutely.
I like it. All right, Dave, what do you got?
I have something amazing.
Okay.
I have Big Spawn's Rattlebot.
Ooh.
A little crawfish
Oh, a little rattle trap looking.
bait. And I only took this
Whoa.
because this is a similar bait that before was called yo-yoing. I didn't know it was called yo-yoing. I yo-yoed a classic Top Rod Championship away from Brian with a bait that looks similar to this.
All these years later, still rubbing it
feel how
in.
sticky those hooks are.
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Let's
Is that, oh, it's got it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Let Mark check them hooks.
Wow, it's
We
got a
how
nice
sticky
little
those hooks
knocker
are,
in
dude.
it.
Yeah, it's true.
Huh.
Came right in on my.
Oh wow.
Oh, you're saying Dave moved in on you?
Yeah. Well, you know that one. That was one
yeah.
Mike that we conspired against you.
Yeah, that's all right. That's okay.
So this trophy's on my wall. It's on my look at me wall.
I'll tell you what.
I never
I'd
got
throw
a
that.
dang trophy for nothing.
No, that's all right.
I
You got it.
finished-
You got a trophy in our heart and soul, Brian.
Yeah, I finished second in everything.
You know what I also like about this, Dave, real quick? It's textured.
Yeah.
It has texture, when a lot of rattle baits don't have texture.
Yeah,
you
really.
know what I mean? So I
It
like
has
that.
definitely, and this is something I would never have bought unless I subscribed to this platform here.
It's cool. Brian the Carpenter, what do you got in the MTB box?
Beats the hell out of me.
Okay.
What do we got? We got 10,000 Fishes Summer Shed. They actually make some pretty neat baits, this company, 10,000 Fish. And this,
You've seen some of the other stuff?
I've seen some of their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. It's neat. And this is what that is. It's one of these. I don't know.
I can see that on a drop shot.
Yeah, no, it's a big bait for a drop shot, though.
Yeah, I can see it on a drop shot, though.
Would you mope it?
It's got a little thin tail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see that.
Little tickler.
Oh, hell yeah. I
What's
can
that
see
deal
that
where
on.
they kind of troll it? What do they
Wow.
call it?
Look, I
Oh,
wish
yeah,
I'd have saw
moping
that.
or
Give me that.
moping or
There's some other.
That's way right,
like a
dude.
Damiki style rig.
Yeah.
Hover
yeah.
strolling.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Hover stroking. Stroke.
It's got
I
that.
put an open jig header on this up on like Champlain.
Yeah, see the silver foil it's got in it? Little
Yes.
metal
It's
flash
amazing
strip.
looking.
It's
Wow.
pretty
Shown.
dope, dude. Can see that working.
Yeah, they got some neat baits, man.
Huh.
A few of them.
Are they
I think
expensive?
they make that spinner bait or that bait that looks like a spinner bait.
that
with
bait
the-
looks expensive. Are they expensive?
I don't know.
Yeah, that fucking looks expensive, dude.
I like that foil in there.
That is not cheap. Look at
There
that
was,
thing.
there
That
was
is
some
very
good
detailed.
baits. There were some good baits in that pro box tonight.
That's right.
I
We
like
had a
it.
lot of
That's
activity
legit.
on the board tonight. And dude, we got some shout outs to people that were at the event yesterday. We had some cool people show up and donate their time.
A lot
Keith-
of
our buddy Keith Thomas.
Keith
came-
Thomas. Shout out to Keith Thomas.
Yeah, he came out there and
yeah.
was with you guys all day.
Yeah, we had so many volunteers. I think we ended up, it was funny because about 2 weeks before the event, maybe 3 weeks before the event, we had 3 volunteers. And we were like, oh my God, this is not good because we have a kids event, we have to run fish, and then like I posted a couple messages and we ended up having, I think, about 20 volunteers yesterday. So
nice.
shout out to all the volunteers that came out yesterday. We also had a couple students from the Bass Fishing Club at Penn State University. So thank you guys as well for showing up to help. That was awesome. Yeah, Brian, that was great. It was good to see Keith out there, and Keith helped with the kids event. That was cool, man.
Mike on. And Max, young Max.
Young Max.
Yeah, did you get to meet him?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with Max.
He's cool, man.
He's a cool dude.
That kid's got a lot of
A
personality.
lot of
Is
personality.
that the dude who's hanging around the truck?
Yeah.
When I was talking
Yeah,
to
he
you?
took-
Yeah, that
he
kid's
helped
legit.
take a picture. Yeah.
that kid's legit, man.
Yeah, he
Dave, he's great.
Yeah, he's legit, dude.
He's awesome, man.
but he
him on
brought
the show.
he brought his video stuff, and so this kid's probably, how old do you think he is? 12?
14 maybe.
Yeah,
No,
12,
no,
13,
yeah,
14,
12.
something like
He's
that.
a big kid.
Yeah.
He's tall.
He literally brought his like little camera, his GoPro, his like YouTube camera, and he was talking to Vegas, and he was telling them, "Oh yeah, you got to have this," and he was schooling Vegas on what to do, like how to capture content, which I
Wow.
thought was really cool. I'm like,
yeah.
you know, I could see like an adult doing that, but it's like a kid teaching a kid.
No, I
It's
watched
really
him
cool.
content in your boat that's out front right now. I watched him content in the whole thing, like talking about it, man. Like he had the camera out. Yeah, he was set up on it,
Wow.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's wise beyond his years.
Yeah. He's a good
You know
kid.
what I
He's going to
mean?
be
Yeah.
successful, whatever he
a lot of
does.
personality.
Yeah.
I dig
Yeah.
that kid, man.
Yeah, that was cool. It was cool to meet him.
Bridget?
Bridget was there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you get to talk to
No,
her?
I
yet?
didn't
I
see
talked
her,
to
dude.
Bridget.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we saw a
Haven't seen
senior.
her in a while.
Dave Senior was there.
Saw Senior. I talked. Yeah, we talked to Senior.
Yep.
I asked him how he'd cooked all them catfish. That's all I could think of. I caught like 6 catfish in one day on a spinnerbait. I was like, God, I would love to kill every one of you guys right now. Like you're taking this $9 revenge spinnerbait and twisting it on me. I would kill every one of you if I knew how to do it. You know what I mean?
Oh, Senior would know how to do it, man.
He knows how to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And make it delicious.
Oh, he makes his own tartar sauce.
Oh, I
fresh bread, let's.
You lived through all that. We got none of that.
Well, that's what you get for
I
not
know.
showing up. When I invited you every goddamn weekend, David.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
I know. I'm sorry.
Who else was there, Mike?
Too many.
Oh, you know what, dude? Shout out to Michael Berry. Michael Berry is he's a guy from Oklahoma, and he's been an Ike Live fan or a follower of ours for a long, long time. And dude made some baits. I'm gonna bring these over to you, Mike.
Mike Barry, huh?
Yeah.
Mike Berry.
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
The Okie.
Let me see some Oklahoma baits.
Skinokie, whatever that song is.
Is that Mike?
Wow. Oh.
Swim baits.
Oh, they're themed, though. They got themes on them.
Oh, let me see that.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
No,
look
he
at that.
didn't.
So dope.
No, he didn't.
What?
Stock of walking.
He wanted
That
to
is not a
keep
search.
swim bait.
That is not search in his pocket, ladies and gentlemen.
It's cool. Little DT 14 size bait there.
Let me see that one.
Couple square bills.
I want to see that DT.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Pretty baits, dude.
Yeah,
Nice
so that
finish.
DT's solid resin, Mike.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. What does that mean? I wonder what the buoyancy
This looks
is.
like
I
something
mean,
that would
so-
hang
I
from
think
your
it means-
rearview mirror. You know, like I would hang that. No, I'm not saying don't throw the bait, but you don't want to wreck it.
No, I know. It's cool how
You
he
know,
got that logo in there like that.
It's an heirloom.
Wow. Yeah, they're
It's an
going to have to
heirloom.
stay in the studio.
It's an heirloom from Vegas.
Yeah, that's got a big one knocker in it.
Dang.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But he's undergoing
not-
some health issues, man.
It's like a
some
9mm
serious-
round in there.
Like me and Pete met him and his son at the Classic in Oklahoma. When was the last Oklahoma
like this.
Classic?
Oh, shit. A Grand Lake?
Grand, yeah.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years. 4 years
Yeah.
ago.
Can I
4
steal
years
this?
ago? Yeah, take that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, they're for you guys.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
stealing the Char Blue, my man. Thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Appreciate
It's a good looking one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Well, shout out to Mike. Yeah. What's he got going on? Some health issues?
Yeah, man. Like,
Okay.
got to learn how to walk again.
Oh man.
Oh, Jesus.
Serious business. Yeah. It's
Damn.
Now, how much is he making these, Brian? Like the whole kit and caboodle?
Yeah, dude, he sent me years ago a Forerunner to the Tokyo rig.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's
I remember that.
yes,
Yeah, we were still downstairs in the studio in the other
oh,
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. He's all about it. He's living the life. He's a tinkerer.
All
No,
right.
he's no joke.
Well, we're thinking about him.
Man,
Shout
goddamn.
out to him. Hope you're getting better.
Mike Barry.
Dude, what a great show. Like, I'm still in awe that this happened tonight, that we got to get everybody together, talk shop, big win.
Yeah.
This is just cool, man.
Yep.
This is just cool. Like I said, 6 years, I had a lot of amazing moments handing those awards away, but that one yesterday was really special, and I'm glad you won.
I
I'm happy
appreciate
for
it.
you.
Same here,
I
dude.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah, very
I appreciate
very
it. I've
happy for you.
had a lot of people reach out to me.
Yeah.
You know, guys like the Solis and Mansu, and I had guys call me that, you know, that I just fished the trails. Was like, dude, they seen it, and I guess because they know what I went through.
Yeah.
And it's just, it just makes you feel good inside that
Yeah.
you touched that many people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to be able to share.
Yeah, but you earned your rep, dude. You earned your rep, man.
I
It
guess.
doesn't
I
give
mean,
it to you,
I-
you know?
You know, I work hard at what I
Yeah.
do. I put in the time. I just,
Yeah.
you know, I don't think I'm anybody different than anybody else. I just go out and do my thing, and
Yeah.
you know, I don't try to, you know, cut anybody off. Just I do on others. I had them do unto me,
Yeah.
and just, you know, over time you perfect your craft, and
Yeah.
to be able to come down there and get that out. That's dude. I mean, not just because it's a tournament win. The way it all went down, the whole Ike Foundation. I mean, how ironic that the past 2 years. Last year was a father-son combination, and
Right.
this year was a father-daughter
Yeah.
that won a benefit tournament that's for Take a Kid Fishing.
Yep. Isn't that cool? That is
Dude,
true.
it's
I didn't
so
think. I actually didn't think about that until you just said that.
Yeah, nice
Oh
link.
yeah,
That's
dude.
freaking awesome.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
Really cool.
It's
That's
like
awesome.
it's so, you know, it's like you as the hosting and, you know, with your charity that you're
Yeah.
running, to sit there and write a script. You and Becky, you guys could sit down and say, look, we want to have a charity tournament, you know, for kids, and
Yeah.
you know, let's wouldn't it be great? Let's have a father and son win.
Yeah.
That would really be good for for our charity. Let's have
Yeah.
a father-daughter win, because obviously these are parents that introduced their kids to fishing.
Right.
No
And
doubt.
that's when we
Yeah.
were talking earlier about the single mom wanting to. I ran into them too at the different sports expos that I would do, you know,
Yeah.
to help the federation, all that stuff. And I think that's the most important thing, that the parents, even though they don't know nothing about fishing, your kid might.
Yeah.
You know, you're fortunate that your son, Vegas, he's looks like he wants to be a fisherman.
Yeah.
But he might not.
Right. Yeah.
So he's still your son, but you still introduce them to the outdoors, you know?
Like the sport, like being outside, like fishing, whatever, if it's for fun or competitive or anything in between.
Go catch bluegills.
You know?
No, nobody says you got to, do what we do and, buy these big bass boats and go out there and do all that. It's just get outdoors, go fishing, and if you're inspiring to become a professional, make a living at it, the opportunity is there.
Yeah.
And the knowledge is there. The information's there. It's, I think, hard. It's hard to make, but coming from where we came from, I think it's easier. Because only easier to the point of guidance.
Right.
You still have to be the person inside to make it happen, but there's a roadmap.
Yeah.
Dude, I struggled for all those years, and finally Pete says, well, because I have my own business now, I work my family business, and I was able to work on the side. Like, all the shows, all the stuff that you have to do to put in for your sponsors.
Yeah.
Pete, I said, dude, I don't get it. I said, I don't know what to do. He says, well, be your own sponsor. So that's what I focused on.
Yeah.
So I work real hard at myself and, hurry up and get done work dark to dark. And now here we are fishing. And like you said, just to win that tournament yesterday, to share it with my daughter, I hope other people get to experience that because
that's awesome.
That's, to me, was just.
Beyond driving away with this boat, you earned something that most guys don't. Like, you don't know my name, but I knew who you were. Like, that's something that's earned. Yeah. That's not something, I don't know the name of the guys who won that boat last year, but I knew you coming into this.
I appreciate that.
I knew your boat coming into this, and that's something that's earned. And, you definitely cashed in, my man, on many years of grinding.
You've done good, Mark. And
I'm not done.
Yeah, and I know you've got a quest to make the Classic.
Yep.
I know you can do it, dude. We're rooting for you. I know you've got the skill and the desire to do it. I know you can do it. I want to see it at Classic. Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just don't know when.
Yeah. And maybe we'll fish the same Classic.
That would be awesome.
I'm not sure I'm done yet either. I might make an announcement about this announcement a little later on another show, but I'm not saying I'm done with Classics yet either. So, I'm just going to leave it there. Real quick, Brian DeCarpenter, I want to just remind everybody, Father's Day is coming up, of course. Some great Father's Day gifts from our sponsors here, Dave. Mystery Tackle Box makes a great sponsor. Brian DeCarpenter, stick your foot up there. Show them those beautiful Heshi socks. They make great Father's Day gifts.
There he is.
Look at these socks. Look at that Pippi Longstocking there.
Legs
on fire.
Legs only Cyndi Lauper can love.
Right. Only Cyndi Lauper can love those.
Cyndi Lauper. Which, by the way, Dave.
Go ahead.
It's the first concert.
My very first concert I ever went to see. I went and saw it with Mark Keogh.
You and Mark Keogh at a
Me and
Cyndi
Mark
Lauper
Keogh were in
concert.
the audience. She's like, he's looking at me. Like, he thought she was looking at him. Yeah. We were like 55 feet from Cyndi Lauper. Yeah,
Wow.
He thought he saw her.
Were you enough to get the sweat off of her hair when she shook, or were you that close or not close
They were
enough?
free tickets. I mean, I was half excited to be there, but I wasn't like totally in. But he was like full in the Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Good for
Did
him.
she have who was her manager or the guy?
Not Lou Albano. I think he was a part. Captain Lou wasn't part of it yet. He was still managing wrestling at the time.
He
with
wasn't
the
a
rubber
part of that
bands.
yet?
No. That wasn't until the Goonies video.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody
Goonies
watching.
video.
I'm sorry.
They don't even
Made
know
me
what
do
the
it.
Goonies video
You drugged
is.
me into it.
Yeah. In addition, I know Becky mentioned it, but Empire Covers makes a great Father's Day gift. They make a cover for anything from a full-size bass boat to an RV to a lawnmower. And also, they have a new line of American Eagle covers, which is 100% USA made.
Nice.
That's important, right? That's a good thing.
United States of Kentucky, everybody.
Right. United States of Kentucky. Dude, it's been a terrific show, Brian DeCarpenter. You have any last little tidbits you want to throw out there?
Probably. I leave Wednesday for the Classic.
Yeah.
Bass University is going to be at the Bassmaster Classic.
That's
in
right.
Texas. Where we go? What?
Houston?
No.
Dallas.
No.
No.
Fort Worth.
Fort Worth.
But
That's
same airport.
Dallas.
Yeah. So we're going there.
Cool.
That's kind of cool. The only Classic I ever will attend was in Birmingham.
was in Birmingham, the COVID Classic. Everybody was giving each other COVID.
So
and we
awesome.
didn't know yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you were awesome there, man.
Yeah, it's like attending a Super Bowl in, I don't know, pitch blackness.
Like the Fog Bowl or something.
Yeah. Like it's the only Bears game in the Fog Bowl.
Yeah.
Yay, Dad. Thanks for the front row seats. This is awesome.
Well, here's
It's great fog.
but here's something to aspire to, Dave.
What's that?
Just on that note. Next year's Classic, they already announced it, Lake Hartwell,
That's a good one.
which is in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Great city.
Right on the border.
Like, no.
No, it's a
Good
great city, man.
It's
Yeah.
not a Birmingham city. It's a really
It's
like
different,
fun,
man. It's not like-
nice,
yeah.
crisp, clean.
You're downtown. You're sitting at a red light at
You'd like that one.
rush hour on midweek with the window down. There's no sound. There's no smell. It's just the light
Sounds like a
changes
dream.
and you go. You know what I mean? It's nothing like what we're used to.
And then an
nice.
old teacher shows up in your dream. And pitches you on the ass. I don't know. Like
And you're
what?
naked.
Yeah.
And then
You're
there's-
late to school and naked.
And then there's this clap of lightning,
Yeah, cough.
and it all starts going in reverse.
Oh, yeah, I had that dream. All right, this is getting weird.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank our guest, Mark Shaver. Thank you
Yes.
for coming
Thank you,
in
Mike.
and hang with us.
Thank you.
Great show. I want to thank our TV guests, Dave Mansu and Bob Soley, for joining
Yeah,
us.
right,
They
yeah.
were awesome guests as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And everybody else. Dave Brodzik, Brian DeCarpenter. Thank you guys.
Yes, and
Yes.
Mark's daughter who put him on the meat.
Yes.
Come on, man. How cool was that?
That
Sam
was
Flynn,
awesome.
yeah.
Yes.
Sam.
Very,
What is
very
what's
cool.
she going to do with her half of the cut? Did she say yet?
No, she's still. When she came in this morning, because her and her girlfriend, they went down to North Carolina, down the Outer Banks, and she's just grinning ear to
That's
ear.
awesome.
Yeah, it's
As it should be.
yeah. It's like
Yeah.
I said, when the guy offered $10,000 for the vote, she said, "We'll take it." I'm like, "No." She goes, "What?" I'm like, "It's going to be more than that." She
Yeah.
goes, "What?"
Oh, yeah.
Is she watching?
I don't know.
Don't listen to your parents. Buy all the cool stuff you want to buy. Right? Don't put it in the bank. Spend it.
Yeah, Michelle said she's watching. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. I was hoping she would be able to go. When Brian called, I was like, "Ah, shoot, she's not going to be able to make it." But that would have been because she was really excited, and I don't know if you saw, she posted actually when we were on stage, she videoed us.
That's awesome.
But you
I
know, these
didn't
kids
that.
today,
That's
they're all
great.
they're all talking like
They're all
I don't
dialed
think
in,
of that
man.
stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And
Did she got that? She got that when you jumped up on stage there?
yeah, when we were up on stage and Mike was talking,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, she's sitting there video, because then when you gave us the trophies,
Oh.
she actually takes it and she's like,
That's
of course.
awesome.
yeah.
I want that video.
Oh, Michelle probably, she shared it on Facebook, and then
'Cause
all
that was a cool moment.
That was a
man.
cool moment.
It was-
really
It
cool.
was a very cool moment.
like I said, I appreciate anybody that watches this that did reach out to me. That's what hits the heart.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah.
Yeah.
At least I know it's. I don't know. It's like I said, I have a lot of respect out there for everybody, and
Yeah.
I'm really honored and humbled of the reactions I got from this win, because I've
Yeah.
had other wins. I've done a lot of good things,
Yeah.
but this time around, it's
Yeah.
this is like, wow. This is almost like winning the Classic, the way people
Well,
are reacting.
It was a great win. You deserved it. The fact that you were fishing with your daughter made it,
Oh, dude,
made
that
it
was-
even better. That was like
Yeah.
icing on the cake.
Oh,
So,
dude, and she was waffling
Yeah.
all day long. She was catching fish all
It's
day
awesome.
long, and
That's
then she
right.
put a big one in the boat to caught the little one. It was
That's
like
awesome.
That was the greatest.
It's awesome.
The right person won, man.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
right
You
person.
You know, I don't know if we said it earlier, but like, I know we talked about it. Like I was, I fished with Bob, and Bob's been through a rough time recently, and he's, Bob's like, man, I need a win, and I'm like, man, I'm in a slump, dude. I need a freaking win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, and Mark wins it, and you hear what he's been going through,
Yeah.
and just the whole story behind it. The right person won.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like all the stupid shit that's going on in the world and all the
Yeah.
negativity.
Yeah.
This was
great.
the yin to the yang.
Yeah,
This was
it's
the
great.
right
It's the
right thing.
It's the opposite of all the negative bullshit.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
been
like the
going
trolls
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
YouTube. Like,
Yeah.
this is the opposite of that.
Perfect. It's
This
perfect.
was positivity.
Yep.
It's good
Happens when
stuff.
it's supposed to, which is awesome.
I almost feel bad, like 24 hours ago, grinding my teeth in the left lane, doing 110 up 95, leaving in anger, dude. I'm like a dickhead now.
You should have stopped at the Goose. Had an Orange Crusher 5.
Yeah, I would have been grinding my teeth
The whole way back,
you're
the whole way
doing
back
great.
home, Dave's like, fucking McGraw.
No, not at all, dude. Grohl and I fish well together.
Better than you and Brian.
Oh, don't you start that one.
That didn't go well last
Well,
time.
at least you didn't.
I thought it went great. I don't know what the hell. I think it's all fake news. I mean, I had a good time.
news.
We didn't have a shot. He
Fake
called
news.
small fish. It's fun. Who gives a
Is
shit?
it fake news? Is this like the Fauci emails?
I don't know nothing.
Okay.
Brian's upset about that.
Fauci
We'll talk
emails?
about Fauci's emails.
Oh, okay.
I'm not upset about nothing.
Are you upset about the Fauci emails?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
I'm looking out for your stupid ass career so that people don't talk about this shit on your show and ruin your career.
That your uneducated friends can unravel in 1
This
minute.
shit don't matter to me, homie.
What? Just because we don't talk about politics or religion on the show, you think it
Bro.
doesn't matter?
Let's go. I'll go home. I still got work tomorrow.
No,
I
we're
will not be responsible.
No, we wouldn't do that to everybody anyway.
No.
Thank everybody for watching. Yeah.
One more. I'm
Oh yeah.
I'm so
No,
sorry.
go ahead. What do you got?
Oliver and Riley came
Yeah.
into town for this event.
They did.
Dude.
Dude, that meant so much. That really did.
Yeah, I mean, like, he came to the Northeast from New York City.
Dude, he's
For that event.
Well, I told him when he got here. He landed here like Thursday from
Tuesday.
was it Tuesday?
Came in Tuesday and then flew from California to Jersey on Tuesday, got an Uber from Philly to your place.
Right.
Got his rig and drove to New York and then filmed for 3 straight
Filmed
days.
for 3 straight days. Fished a tournament
Oh, yeah.
on Friday. Drove from in New York City. Drove Friday night down here to probably
No.
a hotel, right?
No, they stayed up there.
They stayed up there. They drove from there down?
Yeah.
Oh.
They drove from New York City down to the.
That's
Down to
hard,
the
dude.
When we pulled in, when I told you, like, I saw you 8 o'clock where you were at 8 a.m., Oliver was cutting through there. John's like, damn, I don't know who anybody is. John's like, he's in it to win it. And there's Oliver, like, whack, flinging these giant, like, glide bait just on like 5, 6, just cutting through, dude. He was just hammering, dude.
out there in middle ditch, just
He was
slinging.
just slinging, man.
And then 2 hours later, he was taking a nap.
The burn. The burn hit.
That scene in Middle Ditch
Yeah.
is not a good representation of anything.
No, it looked like a game that killed a man.
Oh man,
It was terrible, dude.
I don't know.
I was apologizing to people all day long because I was in the back of Sully's boat.
Yeah. Oh
And he's
man.
just straight looking down at the graph and like,
running over people's lines.
I'm just like, all right, there's nothing on here that says who I am. All right. Sorry.
Well, that's funny for you to be doing that,
Black
dude.
tape
Like,
over
you're
the
usually
iCloud.
the guy that's
Yeah.
like, fuck you, I'll fucking
Nah.
give you the war in the face.
Well, yeah. I mean, I had one time.
Nah, other times.
Probably 2 times.
Yeah.
200,
Yeah,
2,000.
yeah,
What's the
exactly.
difference? It's all 2.
Flog it.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Oliver for showing up. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
That's it.
That's
And
it.
Trent
Go ahead.
Cole, man.
All right. And Trent Cole.
Good to see Trent Cole up in there,
Yeah,
dude. Come on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And Reno.
Reno had a
Reno,
good finish.
Reno
dude.
came in 3rd.
Yeah.
Hell
Damn.
yeah.
Yes, he did.
17 pounds.
Reno
Yeah.
9/11.
Yeah. All right. Hope everyone had a great night watching. I hope you have a good week. We'll see you at the next show. Good night, everybody. Bye. Bye-bye.
Goat